Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Tier List podcast. And we are back with the second episode of Off the Cuff. I'm joined today by Paddy.
Hello.
And Ritson.
Hey.
Now, all five of us were meant to do this, but unfortunately, Collins and Neil couldn't make it, so the Evertonians have called it off on their part.
What a shocker.
But we have the three from the previous episode of Off the Cuff, so, expect a lot of Liverpool bias.
Well, we'll be unbiased, I think.
I think we will be all right. My team of the year might be the entire Liverpool squad, including Harvey Elliott, Adrian, that on the bench.
Well, I think mine's got like over half the players Liverpool, so.
But,
that's expected. But I actually think that's fair, though. Like, this is a fair team of the season, in my opinion.
But shout out to Paddy, who's organised a lot of this, so I'm going to give it to him to tell you guys how this is going to work.
Very simple. We're going to do 12 of our own awards that we've decided ourselves, and we're going to do our own team of the season, and we're going to alternate between the two throughout the episode. So we're going to go award, then we'll pick a position in team of the season and vote, then we'll do award, and so on and so on. And we're going to start with the worst referee decision.
Also, it might need to be known that Collins and Neil also put in nominations for it, so it's not just going to be us three.
Yeah, for the awards, we've each put like one nomination forward. Not necessarily who we think is the award winner, but we put like a nomination, like who is like a good debatable answer or winner. So should we get started?
Yeah, go for it.
No time like the present.
All right. So the first awards, I'm your host today, is worst referee decision. I think what we should do is go through each of the nominations, talk a little bit about them, and then vote on a winner.
Seems like a reasonable thing to do.
So I might as well kick us off with Everton's penalty that was conceded against Brighton for a foul on Jack Connolly, which was submitted by Collins.
I forgot about this until Collins had submitted it.
Did you say Jack Connolly?
What's his name?
Aaron. It's Aaron Connolly.
Oh,
Connolly.
He's messed it up already.
Listen,
but I remember actually seeing this and just bursting out into laughter of this being actually given as a penalty. I mean, I don't know what happens. It's like a ghost picked him up and then planted him on the floor, and that's it.
Well, there's a little stand on the foot. No. We're talking facts here. He stands on his foot as they're running, and then he just flops to the ground like it's a dive in my opinion. Like you don't just flop to the ground. It's literally they're just running together, and there's a little bit of contact as they're running. That's not a penalty.
Oh.
that happens like about 12 times a game. Well, more than that.
Yeah, it was a bad one. What's the next one?
Who wants to talk us through the VAR decision?
Oh, wow.
The goal line technology.
The big one.
I think this was my nomination.
I thought that was
the goal line technology.
I thought it was mine.
Well, I think
it was probably both of you. So.
Okay, fair enough. Well, yeah, this was. This was a bad one because goal line technology is supposed to be perfect, basically. I mean, we are supposed to have 100% accuracy because there's no referee, person in a room deciding, looking at slow motion or anything, and it's a judgment call. It's over the line, it's not over the line, and we have the, super advanced technology to do it. But somehow the cameras were covered up by the players, meaning it didn't work. I mean,
well, right.
And let's be honest though, the entire world was watching this because it was the first game back since lockdown started.
Here's my take though: is it a bad referee decision or is it just a technology failure?
No, because at the end of the day, they still could have checked VAR because.
Are they allowed to though?
Yeah. They said that if it was a clear and obvious error, which it was.
Yeah,
then the referee could have checked it.
They weren't talking about goal line technology though. Like,
I still think it's a awful, calamity of a decision. Really,
it's a complete calamity. Bournemouth are suing like the FA, I think, over it.
Yeah, because because
it literally cost them.
Yeah, it's quite funny, but sorry, Bournemouth fans, when you think about it. But yeah, so yeah, I mean, they really could have checked the replay. I mean, it's not like it's even close to the line as well. Like you could look at a still shot and be like, yeah, that's not over that's over the line. Sorry, that's a goal.
The thing is, though, like, I mean, the assumption is from VAR that the goal line technology works because it has worked pretty much 100% so far for however long it's been out for. So you can understand maybe the VAR like not looking at it because they just assume it the goal line tech was right.
But it's still a clear and obvious error. Like, that's the thing. Like, that's what makes VAR like try and get things right. If it's a clear and obvious error, and in this case it was, like, it's tough. Like, tough look at the end of the day, but they need to check it. And I remember all the pundits saying it needs to be checked because it is. At the same time, VAR and Hawkeye are meant to be working together in the terms of like technology in the game.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose why wouldn't you check it anyway? To be fair, that's where it comes into a bad referee decision. Why wouldn't you just check it just in case? Like while the game's going on, just have a little check.
Like, yeah, it's not like they've got anything else to do.
It's not like it was a half-hearted appeal and all. Like they were adamant that it went in.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But anyway, we've talked too much about that. Should we move on to another Aston Villa decision?
Mm-hmm.
Go for it.
We've gone from Aston Villa luck to Aston Villa bad luck. And this was actually my nomination because I thought this decision was an absolute disgrace. Mainly because it was checked by VAR and not overturned. I could understand why the referee gave it in the first place. For this not to be overturned is outrageous. I mean, Bruno Fernandes literally turns into him, stands on his ankle, and falls over. It's a foul to Aston Villa, and it's been given as a penalty to Man United. It's incredible.
Well, how many pens did United get this season?
Like they got 14.
I'm sure it was more than that. I'm sure it was like 20.
Oh, it might be 21. I don't know what I'm thinking of, but they had a mad amount of penalties, to be fair.
It was a poor penalty to give away because it was just there was hardly any contact there, and like you said, the fact that it was checked over is a bit of a disgrace that it was still given as a pen.
14 penalties United got in this.
Oh yeah, what's 14?
Just the Premier League. That is
just the Prem, okay.
Just the Prem, yeah. So ridiculous number that. Man City in second with 11. But anyway, I just thought I'd look that up.
I mean, ultimately, it's just an absolutely awful decision, and it could have had so much more of an impact than it did. I mean, I guess it did have a big impact. It didn't have that much of an impact on Aston Villa because they survived. But, you say maybe if Man United don't get that pen, maybe they don't win the game.
Well, it was 0-0 when the penalty was given.
And they were playing quite well, Villa, I think.
Well, they were defending well. It's one of those things, like, you're against relegation when it's like balls to the wall, really.
And then as soon as you concede in the game like that, you have to go for it, and then you just leave. Then you start to leave spaces, and then it just changes the whole game, like a decision like that.
Yeah, the whole psychology of the game. Yeah.
So.
But anyway, yeah. Let's move on to a kick in the nuts. That's just what it is, isn't it? It's Batshuayi and Harry Maguire, is it?
Harry Maguire, yes.
Yeah. They have a bit of a tussle. Maguire, goes onto the floor and clearly kicks out studs and everything right into Batshuayi's, right into his
little Batshuayi.
Yeah, that perfect.
Yeah.
And VAR surely looked at this and nothing was done about it.
What makes this worse is I can't remember how long before, but we all remember Heung-min Son getting sent off for the same thing, but probably even lesser than this because I'm not even sure Heung-min Son made barely any contact when he did it. Harry Maguire goes right in the gonads.
That was a dirty. I remember watching that. That was a dirty little game, that, and United they just weren't bothered. They just wanted to it felt like at times they just wanted to injure Chelsea players.
I mean, call me a conspiracy theorist here, but I mean, English Man United player getting a decision Korean Tottenham player not getting the decision. I mean, there seems like a bit of a English bias here.
Yeah, and the thing is, right, this what makes this so bad is it's not even like it's a tackle and it's a bit of a judgment call. He literally just kicks him in between the legs.
And like it's so obvious they can see on VAR and they've just bottled it as they usually do.
Yeah, that's a really bad one.
That's a bad decision. But the final one, we struggled to pick a final one. Well, this is what we've came up with, and it was Vertonghen's clear foul on Gerard Deulofeu that wasn't given as a pen.
Yeah.
I mean, as fouls come, it's clear as day. Like, he slides the ground. There's no contact, and then he brings his leg around again for a second bite. Completely like wraps his legs around Deulofeu's legs and clearly trips him over, and no pen's given. It's incredible.
Yeah, nowhere near the ball. And it's not like Deulofeu's touch was going miles ahead of him or anything. He had the ball pretty well under control too.
Yeah.
So I don't even think that the referees could use that as an excuse. I really don't know. I just don't know what was going through their head. Like, how do you see that slow motion several times, several angles, and come to the conclusion, it was fine.
And again, the match finished 1-1, so that's 2 points against Watford that ultimately would have cost them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, since we're talking about worst refereeing decisions, we might as well have a quick opinion on VAR this season. What do we think?
It's been poor.
I think, considering what it is, it's underperformed, but I think it's better to have it in than not. I think what needs to happen is rules need to be cleared up. Like when they do replays on handballs and stuff, there's all kinds of people getting confused and saying, well, it's ball to hand. It's like, well, it doesn't matter either way. Everyone's contradicting each other. And then, some of these obvious mistakes not being brought back are, really, they're going to anger fans more than if VAR wasn't in there and it was missed, because you have a slow motion replay.
Yeah, to me, I like VAR.
Yeah,
but the referee, it's the problem's not the technology, it's the referees using the technology.
Yeah.
Or poor. Like I saw it on Sky Sports News, or Sky Sports Pundit the other day. I can't remember who said it, but they said, I think it was maybe Graham Souness. He said it was brought in to try and help the referees, and it's ended up just embarrassing them and exposing them for how bad they are. And like that's completely true, because it really has just exposed how bad they are.
Did he manage to bring up Pogba when talking about VAR at all? Like Souness loves to do.
He said he dived in the dressing room while he was dancing.
Ah, okay. Well, there you go. Then
VAR should have picked it up.
Yeah, well, there you go. Yeah, I mean Martin Atkinson especially. He's anytime you hear the news and Martin Atkinson will be on VAR for this game, you're like, oh god, no.
Well, we'll mark that one down as a loss.
Shoot me.
Right. Should we get down to voting then?
Yeah. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first. There's only one for me, and that's Aston Villa against Sheffield United. That has literally cost someone promotion, and not promotion. That's cost someone survival in the Prem.
Paddy?
I was gonna say it's a tough one, but I was gonna say the Bruno Fernandes one, just because like I just can't like. That it did have quite an impact, but I just can't see how they haven't realised that's not a pen. It just pains my brain.
Be really awkward.
With the goal and technology one, I feel like that's more of a technology thing rather than a refereeing decision.
Fair enough. It'd be really awkward if I didn't choose either of those now, wouldn't it?
I mean you can, and then we can.
To be fair, I would think that the Harry Maguire Batshuayi one was worse than the Bruno one with Villa, but I can't get past that goal line technology one. I mean, it's just so bad. It's just so bad.
It's fair. I can see it.
I have to go with that. Yeah.
And there's your winner. As you can see in my incredibly made power. Oh, God. It's not that incredibly made. Right. There's a winner for that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, should we go on to our, as you can see on the screen, there's the Sky Sports website where you can pick your own team of the season. Now, before the podcast, we've already agreed on what the formation should be. Well, not agreed, but we voted. And 4-3-3 is the winner.
Yes.
2 of us voted for 4-4-2, including me. And three people vote for 4-3-3. So I've had to change my team slightly based on what I wanted it to be. But that's okay. It's still a perfectly good team this season. So we'll start with goalkeeper.
Okay.
Who should we vote for?
Well, I have chosen Edison simply because he is the Golden Glove winner, and it might have been Nick Pope or something like that, but Edison's Golden Boot. And the only reason I'm not putting Alisson in is mainly because he's missed quite a few games this season, and Edison's always been there so far.
Okay, Paddy.
I completely disagree with that. I think it's very easy to just look at the Golden Glove standings and say he was top, he goes in. But you got to look at the bigger picture. Like Edison for a start. I mean, he only got top on the last game of the season, competing with Nick Pope, who's been playing for a far worse team all season, who's only ended up with 1 less clean sheet than him. And the thing is with Edison, you don't picture him having a brilliant season. You don't think of him making that many amazing saves, because I don't think he has. Because the simple fact is, City have the ball for 90% of all their games, so he just doesn't have as much work to do as these other keepers. So that's where the clean sheets have came from.
A lot of those clean sheets come when they beat like a Watford or a Norwich 5-0, and he has nothing to do all game because the midfield of City just dominate the ball, and the other team barely has a sniff.
So ultimately, Pope has 1 less clean sheet than Edison, but he's had to work for those clean sheets a lot more than Edison, so that's why Pope gets my vote.
Okay, well, I am gonna disagree with both of you, and I'm gonna go with Dean Henderson. Now, okay, maybe he didn't get the Golden Glove, and maybe he wasn't even second in the Golden Glove, but I think he's made some, brilliant saves. I think he's helped Sheffield United a lot in the, early to mid surge of getting a Europe spot. Ultimately, towards the end of the season, they did fall off a bit. But then if we go into the stats, he has one of the highest save percentages in the league, 3rd, and that's behind Bern Leno and Hugo Lloris, who hasn't played as many games, and neither's Leno either. So Henderson is like got the highest save percentage for a goalkeeper who's played basically the entire season. He's also outperforming his expected goals against, more so than Edison and Pope. He should have conceded, for the average goalkeeper, 6 more goals than he has, which is a lot higher than, it's actually twice as much as Edison. So that's why he gets my vote, and I think that he will be. But you know what?
3-way tie.
You know what? We're gonna have to come to some sort of conclusion. We're gonna have to come to some sort of conclusion. I mean, I would definitely agree more with Pope than Edison. So
okay. And I would agree more with Henderson than Pope.
Okay, so I feel
no, not than Pope, No, I would agree more with Henderson than Edison.
Oh, this is a mess, this.
So I think, Mangan, you should pick between Pope and Henderson.
Where's this come from? I thought Ritson said he agreed more with Edison than Pope. So it's
he agrees more with Pope than Edison.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what I said, to be fair.
And I agree more with Henderson than Edison, so I think you should get the sand vote between Henderson and Pope.
I think, I'm going to say Henderson because he's younger and this is literally his first season in the Prem.
Okay.
Lovely stuff. Also, clean sheets on everything, and Sheffield United have conceded 11 less goals than Burnley, so, that's another thing.
Okay, it's fine.
That's why the Golden Glove can be slightly misleading.
Yeah, okay. Not big. Not bad. I'm fine. No, to be fair, I don't mind Henderson going in there. He's had a good season.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's move on to the next award then. Manager of the Year. I think this should be a little easier than the last category.
Yeah.
So I've got my stats stats for these managers somewhere here.
God.
Give me. I've got pages of notes here. Okay, so let's start with Jurgen Klopp. So we, as we know, won the league with 0 first-team signings this season. He's won the league by 18 points against the Manchester City side. That are absolutely incredible. 99 points is a new club record. He's got the best league defence and the second best attack in the league. I mean, you can't ask for much more than that, lads.
Well, could have been Centurions, you know.
Listen.
But we just had to gift Arsenal 2 goals, didn't we? Oh,
it's no doubt he won the league too early to get the Centurion thing.
No,
but,
in all seriousness, obviously he's clearly the best manager in the world right now. What he's been able to do with this Liverpool team, given where he started, and the fact that he's had to generate most of the funds by selling players to then buy players that he wants. It's unbelievable what he's managed to do considering where we were beforehand. And this season, to be able to get 99 points after last season where it felt like we were grinding games out and maybe the motivation wouldn't be there because of the heartbreak of coming so close. Unreal. The fact he's managed to get this team with no signings to basically perform just as well.
Yeah, Mangan?
What more can I say about him, really? He's a god.
All right. That's all we need.
Right, move on.
So should we talk about Chris Wilder then, who's had another brilliant season, and I'm a massive admirer of Chris Wilder. I'll rile off some stats again. 4th best defence in the league, Sheffield United, and they've just got promoted. That's incredible. Mm-hmm. Almost got Sheffield United into Europe in the first season, promoted from the Championship. Again, incredible. Most people thought they were going to get relegated.
So did I.
His tactics are innovative with his overlapping centre backs. I mean, when have you ever seen that before? Finished 9th. A very respectable finish, more than respectable. But the only reason maybe he wouldn't get my vote is because they did fall off at the end, and they went out with a bit of a whimper. And I mean, don't give me if they'd have managed to get like Europe or Champions League, then I think Chris Wilder would be a serious contender.
Yeah, but
for manager of the year,
you could say that Liverpool went off a bit towards the end. Like,
yeah, but
he'd already secured.
We had a reason.
The status. He'd already secured the Premier League.
We had a reason for going off. Like they had stuff to play for. They could have got, like, they were very close to Champions League places and Europa League places. Like we'd won the league.
But look at Sheffield United's squad. Look at the squad that they had. Like,
yeah. No, I'm not taking it away from him. But
how much did they spend last summer?
I really don't think they barely spent, did they?
No,
I'm not sure.
Like they got people in like Phil Jagielka, Ender Stevens. Like, they have Billy Sharp leading the line at points. You know, you've got to take your hat off to him.
No, absolutely.
The 3 losses to finish their season, and they finished 5 points off 6th. So if they won 2 of those last 3 games, they would have. It would have been 6th, and that would have been them in Europe. And it is a little sad to see that because of, just how well they were doing and how close they were, always like 1 or 2 points off, 4th and 5th the whole season. Really, that's, they were never further away than that. I'm pretty sure they were 4th at one point too. A phenomenal job by Chris Wilder. I mean, I think I saw on my phone the other night that I had my Premier League table predictions, and I had Sheffield United in the relegation zone. I didn't really know much about Wilder or Sheffield United. I just saw, from the Championship, and they seemed pretty weak because they didn't spend much. So I thought, well, they haven't got much of a chance. But wow, did they prove me wrong?
Yeah.
Phenomenal. I don't really think we should waste too much more time. I think we've praised them enough.
Right. Let's go for another manager. Similar sort of season. Sean Dyche kind of gone under the radar more than Chris Wilder because Burnley didn't get promoted this summer, but got a top 10 finish with a very minimal budget. We all know about Burnley's struggles and with their squad size, and they play pretty much the same team every game. So I think that's a credible achievement. Second most clean sheets in the league. 54 points, which is level with Sheffield United, who have been praised so much this season, and deservedly so. But I think their squads are actually pretty similar in terms of quality, so we should be praising Sean Dyche as well. And they only finished 5 points behind Wolves, and Wolves have a much better squad in my opinion. So I think that's a good achievement.
I also think Nuno is a really good manager for Wolves too. So for them to finish that close to them is a great job by Dyche. And considering, I'm going to try and find out how much they spent now. They spent 17 million on new players, and they made 12 million off selling players.
I mean, that's not
barely any. Like most clubs in the league will have spent what they spent in total on one player. I mean, I'm not even joking. That's not even an exaggeration, which is a bit mental to think. So yeah, a really solid job by Sean Dyche again, and yeah, he's just a reliable manager, isn't he, for Burnley?
Yeah.
Yeah, he is. He's Mr. Reliable, but you're gonna have to wonder how long they want to be reliable for. Whether Dyche wants a new challenge for himself, because it has been similar for the past few seasons. So yeah, I mean, I think he's good enough to take that extra step, but whether he wants to, that's another question.
Yeah, it's a tricky one. Definitely a worthy nomination for sure. So
okay, should we go on to Ralph Hasenhüttl?
Oh yeah.
Worthy nominee, in my opinion. I think it's strange to have one of your achievements be recovering from a 9-0 loss, but I think that is a brilliant achievement because, firstly, a lot of clubs would have sacked their manager after that. So fair play to Southampton for sticking by him.
Really showed how patience can pay off sometimes, like big time.
Yeah, exactly. And big up to Ralph Hasenhüttl for not folding at that point and having faith and changing up his tactics a little bit, changing up his side and getting them back on track. And now, like, the difference between them then and now, like, they look incredible. I watched them play against Everton the other week and they dominated. Like, to see the way they played football was incredible. They finished 11th place, 52 points, which is decent for the squad they've got. Only 2 points off Burnley and Sheffield United, who have just praised loads. 9th best attack in the league, which is incredible because Southampton have been known for having quite a poor attack last couple of seasons. He's very much got the best out of Danny Ings with 22 goals this season, which I think that needs to be praised. And the style of football he's got them playing back to what you were thinking of Southampton when they were under like Pochettino, Ronald Koeman. So, and I think he's done a brilliant job with worse squads than those guys as well.
Yeah, an amazing turnaround. The patience shown by Southampton is, I mean, what a decision in the end. Who knows where they would have been? I mean, after that 9-0 loss, they lost 2 games after that to Man City and Everton, both 2-1. And at that point, I'm looking at it right now, they were on 8 points after 12 games, which is awful, and only 1 point ahead of bottom of the table, Norwich. And I've got an interesting website up here, which you can pick any time period of the league, and it'll show you who has the better form in that period. So I've got Southampton after the 12th league game, which was the last of the 2 losses after that 9-0 one. And since then, they have been the 5th best team in the league, 44 points in 26, only 1 point behind Spurs, only 3 points behind United. And you think of how well they've done since Bruno came in. For them to be that high, I mean, that's just amazing. I mean, that's not just form as well. That's just like 5-10 games, 26 games, and they're 5th. Amazing. I mean, who knows what they could do next season? They could maybe push for a top 8, top 7 place. Who knows?
Yeah, with the momentum and the trajectory that they're going, for sure. What do you think,
man? I know he's been good and all, but I can't really vote for someone who got beat 9-0, no matter how well they recovered from it.
Yeah, I'm not saying he should be voted for, but I think he definitely deserves a shout in the nominees. For sure. So, should we talk about the final nominee?
Yeah.
Oh God, I've just exited me tab. Right. Frank Lampard is the final nominee. Maybe a toss-up between him and Espirito Sante. But we've gone with him. I think, for a start, top 4 finish with a transfer ban is pretty impressive. Considering... Oh, no, they did finish top 4 last year. It doesn't matter. Forget that. Kante's been injured a lot, so he's had to put up with that. He's achieved top 4 whilst giving a lot of youth a chance. Look at the likes of Reece James, Tammy Abraham, Mason Mount, and he's got the best out of these players as well.
Yeah.
Which you don't associate Chelsea with doing a lot. A lot of managers there are scared to do that because of Abramovich, who doesn't give managers time. He's got, it's irrelevant because this is a Premier League thing, but he's got them to an FA Cup final. And he has improved the style of play from when Sarri was there. It's much more fast paced and much more direct and attacking now under Lampard, and it's got Chelsea fans excited again.
Yeah, he's done a great job. Not only did they have that transfer ban, they lost Hazard.
True.
Amazing how he's managed to give that youth a chance. I mean, when Tammy Abraham and Mason Mount first came into that side at the start of the season, I don't think anyone really thought that Chelsea were going to do much. And they did start a bit slow, but wow, they ended the season really well. And he's done a great job. It's a really surprising job too, because when you look at what he did with Derby, he didn't really do much. He got them in the playoff places, which they'd always be in, didn't get them promoted. And people were very suspicious. They were cautious about how he was going to do with Chelsea after Hazard's just left and everything, whether he would cut it at all. But he's proved all the doubters wrong and done a great job. So fair play to him.
Yeah.
Similar to Hasenhuttl, really. You say he had a transfer ban, yeah, fair enough, but it's not like he had no one. He still had people like Jorginho, Kovacic, Rudiger. Tomori was, he sorted him out in Derby, so he knew what a sort of player he was. He's been let down a lot by people like Kepa, but he's had people like Willian, Pedro, Giroud, Giroud's had a great end of season, so it's less impressive than it sounds, I think.
I don't know about that. I mean, firstly, to be able to get Champions League while playing Kepa in goal is outstanding, really.
But Sarri did the exact same thing.
And the rest of that defence.
But he also had Hazard as well.
Yeah, he had Hazard, and they were playing a lot. I'm not saying Sarri did a bad job. I think Sarri was heavily criticised unfairly. But if you look at the football Chelsea are playing now, it's far more attractive.
Yeah, for sure. And also, I think a lot of the players you just mentioned there aren't that great. They're not.
Yeah,
when you think of the defense especially is it's not appealing. When you think Champions League sides, and the fact they've got to go play Bayern Munich again, I do feel sorry for them a bit.
I know. I don't think
it's going to go very well.
We forfeit. We just want to end the season. Yeah. That's what I'd be like if I was them.
Yeah. No, he's done a good job, but I think we should probably get to a vote.
Who wants to start the vote?
I'll start, and I'll just say Klopp because, it's the obvious choice. For everything we said before, how can you not give it to a guy who managed to get his team 25 points clear of everyone else? It wasn't until about 25 games plus in that we had less than double the points of the likes of United and Arsenal, and that's just ridiculous to think about.
Okay. I am going to slightly disagree. Of course, I think Klopp's a great manager, and he probably, on record, he probably does deserve it, but I'm going to give it to Chris Wilder, because at the end of the day, most pundits thought it was going to be a toss-up between us and City to win the league. How many pundits thought Sheffield United were going to stay up, and in the manner that they did, with the funds that they had, and to stay up, and not only stay up, but by the end of it, to fight for Europe is manager of the year material for me.
Well, you're wrong.
I mean, no, like, let's be honest. Most people probably expected Liverpool to win.
But that doesn't matter. Expectations, though, like in that case, like Pep Guardiola and Klopp can never win the Manager of the Year award because people always expect them to win.
No,
By that logic,
I'm not saying that. I am not saying that whatsoever. All I'm saying is I reckon Chris Wilder's done a fantastic job in the circumstances. Like, at the end of the day, Klopp probably could have signed someone if he wanted to.
but he didn't.
Yeah, but he still could have. Like, look at the transfers that Chris Wilder made. Because at the end of the day, look at our squad and look at Sheffield United's squad. Like, there's no comparison. Like,
Yeah, I know, but we came first and they came ninth.
Yeah, that's yeah, exactly. I mean, the thing is, right, I think Chris Wilder would probably win it in near enough any other season for how phenomenal he's done. But then you look at Klopp, and after 27 games, we'd won 26 and drew 1. I mean, that's literally never happened before in any of the top 5 leagues in Europe.
Yeah, I mean, he's broke Liverpool's points record, which is flipping hard to do because we've had some high-scoring seasons. As I say, he's won the league by 18 points without any signings at all. We've got the best league defence and the second best attack.
Yeah, and I know we fell off obviously after lockdown and basically having the league wrapped up. But if you look before that, I mean, the win percentage and only dropping points in like 2 games is, I mean, it's never happened before, and I just think it'd be a disservice not to give it to Klopp after the records he's broken.
Yeah, I think people always want to give it. People always want to give it to the overachieving manager as opposed to a manager that's won the league because it's more hipster to do that. But in my opinion,
probably hipster. It's literally just commendation for the job he's done.
Well,
I think people prefer to give it to the manager who's done well with a lesser club than a bigger club.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Anyway, I think it's been decided now. So let's move on. Team of the year position. We're back to that, aren't we?
Right back. Should we go right back?
Yeah, let's go right back. I'm going to be very surprised if there's any disagreements with this one. To be honest,
let's just say it, Trent. Like, put him in. What argument is there?
Listen, when you're looking at the best right backs in the league, you might think of like Ricardo Pereira for Leicester. I think he's a very good all-round right back. People might say Wan-Bissaka, but honestly, I think he's been good, but I don't think he's been that great as maybe United fans might say. But yeah, I don't think no one really touches Trent. I mean, 13 assists from a defender. I mean, I know he's a very attacking defender, but so what? I mean, Dani Alves was, and everyone loved him.
Yeah.
What's the problem? People try and criticize him and say, oh, well, all he does is cross. Well, what about David Beckham and what about De Bruyne, who's actually put in more crosses than Trent this season?
Yeah, I mean, and think about the players that Alessandro's delivering to. He's not delivering to like Andy Carroll every time he crosses it in, is he?
No.
He's delivering to like Mane, Salah, Firmino. So these crosses have to be inch perfect, and he's just a brilliant crosser. He's got 4 goals as well. Scored some brilliant free kicks, important free kicks as well this season. Think about the Crystal Palace game.
Yeah,
a couple of others as well.
17 goals and assists for a defense. What? That is crazy. That's near a goal contribution every other game.
Did you say 17 goals?
17 goals / assists, 17 goal contributions.
Oh, okay.
So 14 assists.
Oh, right.
13 assists and 4 goals. Yeah. Insane.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right to shout out Ricardo Pereira because I saw some of his statistics from this season, and I was like really like impressed with him. So he's a bit unlucky, but it's easily Trent.
Yeah, I know. Also, Ricardo defensively is very, very solid too.
Simple as.
Yeah, sure.
But I think Trent has been really steady defensively this season, and I think it gets overlooked, especially by rival fans.
Ricardo Pereira averaged 4.2 tackles a game, which was the most in the entire Leicester squad, which I was like really like impressed by.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah.
He's a great right back, and Leicester are definitely happy to have him. But unfortunately, we do have what you might call a generational talent in Liverpool in that position.
Simple winner. I don't. If anyone said anything different, you'd worry for them.
Yeah, simple as. Move
or
on.
you'd just be like, United or Everton fan.
Let's move on to the prestigious. I think the most prestigious award in this entire.
Yes, definitely.
It's the worst haircut of the season. I mean, this is the one they all want to win.
Yeah.
I mean, I can see the nominees in the crowd now. They're biting their nails. They want to win this one. I mean, it's tense.
I mean, I've never seen Origi nervous, even when he was, Champions League final, scoring the winning goals against Barca and everything. But he's there and he's jittering.
He is. So, do you want to kick us off for some with Jack Grealish and talk us through this look?
Let's talk about this look. Now, the picture on the screen you're seeing is nowhere near as bad as the haircut I'm thinking of. I think everyone who listens to this and knows football somewhat knows the Jack Grealish haircut I'm on about. It's super high up. I mean, he looks like I don't even know what to say, like a hedgehog with the way it spikes up.
I call it a loaf of bread. I call it the loaf of bread haircut.
I mean, listen, Jack Grealish, very talented footballer, very bad barber. Yeah, and the blonde streaks he's had and everything. It just and nothing on the sides. He looks a bit like with that blonde streaks in his hair. He looks like a blonde Sonic the Hedgehog with the way it's slicked back a bit. That's what I'd put him as. And then that's what, at the start of the match, and then by the end of the match, it's like flopping over the sides, and it just looks ridiculous. Jack, what are you doing, man? Get it sorted.
Well, Mangan, do you want to talk us through? Why don't you talk us through Tom Davis's look?
Ketwig, move on. It's simple as Ketwig. That's it. That's all you need to say about it.
It's a mess, mate.
Ketwig is a Scouse term, by the way, for someone who hasn't got very good hair.
Yeah, go to barbers, mate. You got money.
I mean, in that picture, he looks like if he wasn't wearing a football jersey, he'd look like a crackhead. To be honest.
Oh my god.
I mean, come on, look. I mean, it's just the hair's all over the place. You can't disagree.
I mean, if he was selling stuff on a street corner, you wouldn't think he was dodgy.
Yeah.
You'd think, this guy does this on the reg.
Yeah, if you go to Croxteth or Toxteth, you'll see a few people looking exactly like it, I reckon. Anyway, Harvey Elliott.
That felt really harsh. But Harvey, you want me to talk about Harvey Elliott?
Yeah.
No, I don't mind this too much. The man bun thing is it's not for me. I like his fade. I like the little pattern he's got on the side of his head.
Oh,
solid hairline, but the man bun. The man bun is it's a no go.
I don't know why we're calling it a man bun. He's like 16. It's a boy bun.
Or it's like a
it's an adolescent bun.
Yeah. It's not good. I think he just needs to. And no. Let's just move on. I don't even know what to say.
Well,
it's just bad.
From solid hairline to no hairline. I'm talking about Sadio Mane's post lockdown look. Now pre-lockdown, it wasn't the best anyway, but it looked all right. Post lockdown, what was he thinking?
Well, to be fair, I think this is a very harsh nomination because there's not much he can do when his hair just doesn't grow at the front of his head. It's not,
but that's fine. But in that case, you just shave it off, or he should have kept it the way it was. It was fine.
Yeah,
it's all right.
Yeah,
we love him for who he is.
Oh yeah, we do. Oh well, it's not a good look.
The last one is Origi, who looks a bit like a snow cone now, with the top of his head.
He's doing his best Jibril Cisse impression there, I think.
But Jibril Cisse had a bit of swag about it. Origi hasn't dealt with it well.
Like you can't be a player of Origi's quality and go for a haircut like that. To do that, you've got to be a Pogba or someone like that. Like you can't have that much confidence when you're that average a football player.
Yeah, right. I think we should vote there. I reckon I'm gonna say Tom Davies because at the end of the day, you look at the other four and they've made that choice to do it, like Tom Davies has not changed his hairstyle whatsoever.
You know what? I wasn't going to go with Tom Davies, but you have put a good point across in my mind, and that is at least the other four somewhat tried to style their hair. Tom Davies looks like he hasn't showered in 2 years. So for that, yeah, Tom Davies.
I mean, I was torn between Tom Davis and Origi. I mean, Jack Grealish has improved his hair this season. Javier, I don't mind too much. Sadio Mane, there's nothing really much you can do about it. It's not his fault. Origi's, I'm not feeling that at all, but it's not completely terrible. So I think we'll give the award to Tom Davis.
The only time an Everton player will probably get an award. But,
Yeah.
Wow, what an honour! What an honour it was.
Okay.
So should we go to left back now?
Are we going left back
Or
or?
are we going centre back, left?
Let's do left back then.
Okay, yeah.
All right, I think partner in crime for Trent. I think Robbo's won it this season. There's not many left backs who's really
Stood out.
stood out. Some people might say Digne, but I think Digne's been relatively average.
Yeah, Digne's been on and off, I'd say. I think consistency-wise, Robertson again, 2 goals, 12 assists. He's had another fantastic season. I think he broke his own assist record this season.
He's now got the joint second highest assists in a Premier League season for a defender, behind Trent.
Yeah, I mean, incredibly world-class left back, incredibly balanced. He's had his off games defensively at times, but consistently, he's typically a good defensive fullback. But we all know him for his attacking quality and his crossing ability, which is second to none.
He's a great all-round fullback, isn't he? And he'll work harder than anyone else too. And not that it has anything to do with his team of the season place, but his story of going from almost a nothing footballer up in Scotland to winning the Champions League, Premier League is amazing.
You love a good story like that.
Yeah,
you love a good zero to hero.
It proves just how much hard work can pay off.
Yeah. And another thing I've wrote down here is he is literally our only left back, so he's had to carry that position on his own and play pretty much every game.
I
think we all agree, Robbo.
All agree, and I don't really think there's much point talking about anyone else.
Let me find him. There we go. Found him. And let's go to the next award, which is a bit more serious. Save of the season.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna bring forward my nomination for this, if that's okay.
Sure.
I've gone with Tim Krul's save against Chelsea towards the start of the season. Really, there is nothing I love more than a bullet header being saved at point blank range. It was Pulisic took the header, and there was a proper one-handed punch, not only to save it, but to also put it over the bar to make sure no one followed it up, and that's why it's my favourite.
You know what? It's funny because he actually made a kind of a similar save against Man United, like a bullet header from close range. But I think you're probably right. This is probably the better of the two.
I'll be honest. I couldn't find the save.
Oh wow!
I couldn't find it. I don't know why I couldn't find it. And also, I think I've put the wrong save.
Because it was at Carrow Road
in the PowerPoint because I couldn't find the right save, so I just put like a random image in.
You did what you could.
Yeah, I did what I could. And another thing here is Collins submitted Kepa's save against Liverpool, which I couldn't find either. The only save I could find against Liverpool that was good was a triple save he did in the FA Cup.
No, I know the one he's talking about. I think I saw it. And it was a decent save, but didn't do much.
Yeah, so I think I've got the image wrong for that as well. So I apologise, but I think the 3 best saves in here, I've got the right image. So that's the important thing.
How about you move us on to one of those 3 saves?
Why don't we talk about my suggestion, which was Gaeta's save against Wolves, which is a point-blank save, incredible reactions from a header. I mean, if you see the picture on the screen now, you can see the reaction of the Wolves players.
It's from
Doherty,
wasn't it?
Yeah, kind of my reaction when I saw it. Again, I couldn't believe it. It's just some of the most incredible reactions you'll see from a goalkeeper. What a save.
Yeah, great save. I've got nothing too much to add on this. I just remember trying to find nominations for this award, so I was going through like saves of the week on the Premier League YouTube channel, and seeing that I was like, wow, okay, that's a contender for sure. Yeah, phenomenal reactions, and no wonder the Wolves players have got their hands on their heads. I'd be so gutted if I was Matt Doherty there, and I haven't got a goal for that. Yeah, great save. Let's move on to my nomination, which was Bernd Leno against Man City and Kevin De Bruyne, which was unbelievable. I mean, De Bruyne, I think he'd already scored 2 goals in this game when this happened. Both of them incredible. But this save was so good. I mean, he was full stretch, managed to just get the slightest fingertip, which proves crucial onto the post from a De Bruyne rocket. One of the best looking saves of the season for sure.
Yeah, I agree. Aesthetically, this is like, I mean, not just aesthetically, but technically, it's a brilliant save. Like,
Oh yeah,
I think Ben Leno maybe has the best reactions of any keeper in the league. I think his reactions are incredible. This save is less reactions and more diving from that aspect. But it's the way he tips it onto the post, it just makes it look so much better. And the player he's done it against, De Bruyne, who's an incredibly accurate shooter, who's produced a great shot, and he saved it from out of nowhere. So amazing save.
yeah.
Yeah. And what's the final one?
It is Dean Henderson's save against Mo Salah.
Oh, that was a pretty decent one.
It's another brilliant
dominated
reaction
them.
save. Yeah.
We dominated them all game, didn't we? And he saved them from quite a few more goals, to be fair, and that was a pretty decent save as well.
Yeah, half volley off across Salah on his right foot, I want to say. Amazing reactions as well. Yeah, and the fact he's managed to reach so far out in that short space of time. Incredible save, and is why he is the right pick for, goalkeeper of the year.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, you said it, Pepper, that it's like the way you get so high up so quickly to make that save, like, and you kind of can't be expecting it too much because it's Salah's with his right foot, so he's probably not expecting as clean a hit as he manages to produce. So it's brilliant reaction.
Yeah.
The save was great. So, but let's vote.
Yeah. One other thing about that save is he really, as a goalkeeper, he doesn't have time to set himself for that shot either, because he just sees the cross coming in, and it's not like someone's lining up for a shot or something. It's just cross and then the shot straight away, and he's managed to somehow react. So it is really impressive. But yeah, my vote is still going to go to Leno, though, as much as I've just complimented Henderson. I think, yeah, for everything I just said before, I can't look past it, really.
Mine would, unfortunately, mine's going to be my nomination, obviously, which is Tim Krul against Pulisic, because, like I said, I'm a sucker for a bullet header that's saved not only so well, but so cleanly as well. And the reactions for it, and like I said, not only to save it, but to tip it over the bar to make sure no one could follow up on it, was perfect goalkeeping for me.
And I'm going to make the majority with Bernd Leno, I'm afraid.
Oh,
I always knew I was putting this. I always knew I was voting for this guy. When I saw it, I couldn't believe it. It's just an incredible save, and that's my vote. So he's the winner.
Yeah, well done to him.
So we should move to centre backs now in the team of the season.
I reckon we should start with the one that's going to have no debate. So
we should
start with who we think's been the best centre back.
Van Dijk.
Yeah. Honestly, lads, I don't even think we need to talk about it too much. I'm just going to put him in, and then I'll reel off a few stats, and then we'll end it there, because we'll make this podcast 4 hours if we don't quicken up some things. So I'll just reel off his 38 appearances, played every game. Liverpool have the most clean sheets in the league. He's got 5 goals, which is impressive for a centre back, although not necessary. 7.32 who scored rating, very good, and he has the most passes in the entire league, which is 700 more than second place, which I believe was Rodri. Not, you can take that how you want, but I think that's a decent start. It shows a centre back who's clearly comfortable on the ball, which is important.
He has 11 clearances per 90, which is the best in the top 5 leagues in Europe. His aerial win percentage is in the top 1 percentile. And a lot of his other stats compared to other defenders are basically in, at least 90th percent plus, if not the best. So, he might not have been quite as good as last season, but he's still easily the best centre back. So
but I think he's a victim in a way. He's a victim of his own success.
He is definitely
because of people's expectations. It doesn't seem like he's had as good a season because people expected it from him, but really he's been similar levels. But let's move on, and we'll move on from a great centre back to the calamity of the season.
Yeah,
a centre back who very rarely makes a calamity to some horrendous performances, mistakes. We've got them all in here.
Yeah.
Now, should we start off with De Gea's Watford game?
Yeah, I mean the way you described this is he buttered his toast on both sides in the morning and forgot to wash his hands afterwards. I mean,
forgot to wash his gloves.
Yeah, his gloves. No, well, he doesn't take them off. Like his hands are gloves. That's how it works for goalkeepers. Yeah, this was kind of embarrassing. Yeah, embarrassing. And it's not the only time he made, he messed things up as a goalkeeper. Not just in the league, but in the FA Cup recently, we've seen he's been quite error prone. This is just another one on the list, and probably the worst for him this season. So congratulations to Gea, you made it to the nominations.
Yeah, after the season he's had, he could not be in here.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about the 9-0 Mangan?
Yeah, this is why I refuse to vote for Ralph Hasenhüttl. 9-0, Southampton's worst ever league defeat, I think, which included a hat-trick from Jose Perez, which, no offence to him, but how bad do you have to be when Jose Perez is scoring a hat-trick against you? It could be said that they were unlucky because Ryan Bertrand got sent off, even though it was a clear red, and they were down to 10 men for most of it, but you cannot hide behind the fact that it was one of the most embarrassing performances I have ever seen from a team.
And
yeah,
don't get me wrong, Leicester are a good side, but they're not like Liverpool or City or someone like that. And you're at home, so to get beaten 9-0 is a disgrace. Like, it's nothing short of a disgrace, really.
3-0 down in 19 minutes they were, and 5-0 down at half time, and it just got even worse. Yeah, I don't know. It's just, as Mangan said, embarrassing performance. And it's an absolute miracle that they ended up turning their season around after, that. But I wouldn't want to come out of my room after that if I was a Southampton player.
I mean, you've got to look at the 9-0 was a 10 men's mistake. What about David Luiz's performance against Man City at the restart? That was a one man's mission to destroy his team.
Well, he did a great little assist to Sterling.
He assisted Sterling,
yeah.
Which, I think at centre-back school when you first start, if you're not sure about where a ball's
going,
if you're not sure about where a ball's going, you hoof it out. He assisted them great, and within 5 minutes of a restart, where Arteta probably went, "We're still in this, boys, keep going." He gave away a penalty and got sent off. So, he destroyed that team that day.
Lads, we shouldn't have went to our regular school. We should have went to centre-back school instead. That would have been way more fun.
Yeah. This was just David Luiz summed up, wasn't it? Really, just a really inconsistent and at times very terrible defender. How on earth he's managed to have as good a career as he has it's a damn miracle, really. And yeah, he really single-handedly lost them that game, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let's talk about let's talk about Leicester again. But let's talk on the other side of things, and let's talk about Schmeichel, where he decided to boot the ball into his own defender. I think it was it Ndidi? And
Yeah, it was.
then Ndidi gave away a pen, and then they conceded. And to be fair, this entire game was a bit of a calamity. I mean, they were 1-0 up, and they ended up losing 4-1 to Bournemouth with
Yeah, and then
Solanke scoring twice.
They lived long enough to see themselves become the villain.
And then I think for the second goal, I mean, it was terrible goalkeeping by Schmeichel again, to let Solanke score, and then Soyuncu goes and gets sent off for a stupid piece of play. I can't remember what he did, to be honest. I think he kicked out or something. And then they go and concede another one to Solanke. I mean, how you concede 2 goals to Dominic Solanke is beyond me. And to lose 4-1 to a team in Bournemouth situation, and what that did to their Champions League hopes, I mean, that is a real calamity.
Yeah, awful. Awful game from Leicester. The fact that he went 1-0 up as well, it just tells you everything. And the thing is, I know if they had won that game, they'd still be 1 point off United and Chelsea in the table. But it's more than that. It's more of a psychological thing. If they win those 3 points, they're in a much more comfortable position, and maybe they don't feel the pressure. Maybe they get a couple of points here and there towards the last few games that they didn't end up getting. And I think really this game is the game where they lost top 4. I think it is the biggest reason they lost it in the end. I know they had a general collapse in form after Christmas, but and a certain game against a certain club that finished first. But yeah, I feel like this is the game that really was like, it's not for you this year, is it?
Yeah. Yeah. So I'll talk about the last nomination quickly. When West Ham played Brighton, and it is some of the worst defending you'll ever see. Not too unexpected for West Ham. Issa Diop and Ogbonna on 2 of the highest quality centre-backs in world football, in my opinion. And you see for one of the goals, Fabianski punches it straight into Ogbonna, own goal. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's just great. It's great goalkeeping. And second goal, real bad communication between the 2 centre-backs and the goalkeeper. And you won't see many worse calamities than that. And I think they were like 3-1 up in this game or something, and drew 3-3 at home when they were like comfortable, and they literally threw it away because of calamities, not because of anything else.
Yeah, I think let's just vote here then. I think there's only going to be one. And that's the team effort.
Only going to be one. I wasn't gonna vote for that, mate.
Well, yeah.
I mean, I can totally get why you'd vote for that. I think it's fair, because when you ever see that happen, and it's a disgrace. But I think because of the impact it had, I think it's Leicester v Bournemouth. Because I think the impact it had on Leicester's season, it's cost them top 4 in a game where they were so in control. And then Schmeichel goes and does an error completely out of the blue, unnecessary. And then he goes and does another error, really bad goalkeeping. And then Soyuncu gets sent off. and then they lose the game 4-1. And I think because of the impact, this is the worst one.
Yeah, and you know what? You say all that, but the main reason I think this is the winner is they conceded twice to Solanke, and that is honestly, I just can't get over that.
I'd rather lose 9-0.
I genuinely. Well, at least Leicester are a decent team.
Well, to be fair, 2 goals conceded against Solanke is like 12 goals conceded by any other player.
True, and honestly, yeah, this. I mean, this was awful, and on top of that, I had Soyuncu on my fantasy team, and I could have had more points, but instead I had the -2 for a red card, 4 points for a clean sheet, all lost. So this has got to be the winner, but obviously not for the fantasy football reason.
Right.
Yeah, this is the winner for me. Sorry,
me and Vincent are agreeing a lot. I don't like it.
Yeah,
I'm sure it'll change.
I need you to start agreeing with me, Mangan.
No,
you need to get back on the usual.
Because I'm not a sheep. I'm not following the.
Oh, unbelievable. Well, you're not a sheep, but you're also wrong.
You know what to say? I was wrong. I think.
No.
If Colin here, I'd have more fun because he'd just shout at you.
We'd all be wrong if Collins was here.
Right.
And no, but to be fair, 9-0, I can totally see why you said that.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
It's hard to not say that, but just because
Yeah.
of the impact, I've gone with that.
Yeah. No.
Okay, now we haven't had much debate in the team of the season so far, but I think
feel like
this
that's-
position could cause some.
I feel like it might. Who do you want to put forward, Paddy?
Oh, you're going to me first.
Yeah.
'cause I'm not saying mine yet.
I think you're going to be like incredibly surprised here. I've gone with Chris Basham.
Bastard. Okay.
Whoa.
All right.
Okay, I'll tell you why I've done that. I think, firstly, I wanted a Sheffield United defender in here because I didn't have Dean Henderson in my team. I wanted to celebrate their, fourth best defense in the league after just got promoted. I think they deserved a defender in here, and I think about their centre backs who've had incredible seasons. I think in John Egan, Jack O'Connell, and Chris Basham. So I wanted to do a bit of research to find out who I should pick out of them three. And Chris Basham, I'll read you some stats. He's the only one of their centre-backs to play every game or make 38 appearances. He has the highest rating in the team, in the whole team, 6.98. Obviously, Sheffield United, fourth best defence in the league. And Chris Basham averages the most tackles and interceptions in the Sheffield United squad, and I think they're two of the most defensive stats to focus on. So I've edged him over the other two.
Mangan, you can go next.
No, I refuse.
I refuse.
Okay, well, we're not moving on then.
Okay,
come
there
on.
we go then.
Someone pick.
Let's move on to what is it? Surprise package.
Oh my god.
Oh, we're not doing this. Someone
Alright.
pick.
I
what?
refuse.
I refuse.
Oh,
I am
come on.
The alpha male.
I literally refuse. I am not butching here because I really don't want to say it.
Britain, just pick.
Wow, why me? I'm
I
going
can
with
tell Mike's stubborn here.
yeah, mine's being a little bitch. Right, no, I'm going to go for Kagler Sayunko, which is quite funny.
Just trashed him.
Yeah, but let's, okay, he got a red card against Bournemouth, but it was Schmeichel's fault before that, let's be honest. Now, Sayunko has got a 7.04 rating on Who Scored. Now, that's not everything because, Who Scored, it's not 100%, but it does give a nice guide. Now, I managed, in the time you were talking about Chris Basham, to get a little comparison between Basham, just so I can say why I'm going to bash Basham, why he shouldn't be in this position. Sionko has way more passes into the final third, progressive distance, pass completion, long pass completion. Now, okay, it's a centre-back. That's not that important. The pressures are basically successful pressures per game, basically the same, but Basham edges it. Interceptions, tackles, tackle to dribble pass ratio, all favour Sionko. He wins more aerial duels. He has a better win percentage in aerial duels, and he also makes more clearances than Basham. In fact, nearly twice as many per game. So that is why I'm going with Sionku. I also think he's a very good centre-back. I think he's probably Leicester's best centre-back. And before they started collapsing in the last few games, they conceded 10 in the last 5. Leicester had one of the very best defences in the league. I think they ended up conceding like the 5th or 6th most, but before that they were about 2nd or 3rd. And the first half of the season they were competing with Liverpool's defence as well. So and he was a big part of that.
Well, what I would say is some of the statistics you said you can't really compare them too much because they're very different play styles, the two teams, and that impacts it. But I can accept what you're saying. I mean, I actually had Sayunku in there initially before I did my research, and then I changed my mind to Basham. But I can see the argument for Sayunku. So I guess, Mangan, you get the final vote?
Yeah, my final vote is I've decided to go for a bit about what Paddy was saying with a decent defence that had no real right to be. I've gone with James Tarkowski of Burnley. I think he's had a pretty good, consistent season this year. If we're talking about just his attacking play, like as a big, powerful centre-back, which is what Burnley want. They try and get a lot of chances through set pieces. 2 goals and 2 assists. But you also look at his stats defensively. He's got a 65% tackle success, which isn't bad. For someone who always attack at Burnley. He's had 6 block shots, 63 interceptions, 200 clearances, 111 headed clearances, 180 recoveries, and won 307 duels in the air. And I think he's been pretty decent this season. Like you said, Paddy, with Basham, you do expect them to have a good defence, but you expect them to be broken quite a bit. And I think Tarkovsky's helped with their defence quite a bit this season.
Yeah, you expect them to be solid, but you don't expect them to be literally 4th place in defensive records when you've just got promoted. Is what I'm saying for Sheffield United. I think James Tarkovsky is a fantastic centre back who probably deserves more England caps, but who cares about England? But ultimately, I think if you look at Burnley's defensive record, it's not. Where someone tell me where Burnley plays in defensive record if they can.
Well, I'll tell you firstly, they've conceded 50 goals in the league this season, which is definitely a reason that I didn't go with Tarkowski. Now, I know Burnley don't have the best side overall, but you see with Sheffield United, neither do they, and their defence has been fantastic in terms of only conceding 39. I can't tell you where they rank. I will try and get it up now. But yeah.
I do like that as a shout, though, because Burnley have, towards the second half of the season in particular, really made a surge, and their defence has had a lot to do with that. And Tarkowski and Ben Mee make such a brilliant partnership, and I do rate them. So because it's a three-way tie, we're going to have to decide which of the other guys' opinions we prefer more, and then whoever gets the least votes, they get to decide between the other two options, if that makes any sense at all.
Yeah. Well, I just got up 10th. They are for goals conceded.
10th, okay.
Yeah.
So, Ritson, who would you prefer, Chris Basham or James Tarkowski?
Jeez. You know what? Let me get. You go first, and I'm gonna go and compare their stats.
God.
Mangan, who would you prefer, Chris Basham or Soyuncu?
I'd probably it's tough because I'd probably said Soyuncu.
It is tough.
But I think that Bournemouth performance kicking out, if you want a good centre back, you can't really have them lose the head like that.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but I don't think one mistake should cloud your judgment here.
I mean, but at the same time,
don't let that cloud your judgment.
No, because I think I will.
Fair enough.
So I'd probably say Basham.
Bro, have you found any statistics? Oh, you want me to go? Okay. I think purely because I had Soyuncu there initially, I'd have to say Soyuncu. I do like the Tarkowski shout, though. I think he deserves credit, for sure.
And I think neither. So there you go. Soyuncu it is.
No. Again.
I mean, it's difficult. I think I would have to go with Basham because Sheffield United have conceded 11 less goals than Burnley, while, there's not really a big difference between the quality of the sides overall. So I feel like if, there's not really too much more I can judge it on.
So does Basham win it?
So, unfortunately, I think Basham...
Get in, lads. Yeah. We've done it. Now I have the thankful task of finding him on this list because, they put Jack O'Connell and Johnny Egan as one of the favourites here. Oh no. How do I find this guy on this list?
Have they not put him on the list?
I don't think he's on the list. I thought there was a way you could search it.
You get off Tarkowski then.
This is ridiculous. Why is he not there? Why can't I search for the right person either? You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna put John Egan in there. But you've just got to imagine that it's Chris Basham. Because this piece of software here that I thought was better than it was is a disgrace. I should be able to pick my own options. Thank you very much.
The next award, anyway, is surprise package of the season. So I think I'm going to kick things off, maybe.
Okay, I think we should run through this quickly because I think it's quite straightforward. This one, personally.
Well, firstly, I'm going to talk about Anthony Martial. I think he's been really good this season. However, what might drag him down from winning this award in particular is everyone knew Martial was talented. I mean, he was bought for like 50 million plus from Monaco, and people thought it's kind of similar because then after that, Monaco had Mbappe, and people kind of thought Martial was going to be, I think, that kind of player. He hasn't quite got to that level that Mbappe's been able to show, but this season, really good. 17 goals, 6 assists. You know, he's got like a goal or assist every like 110 minutes, I think, something like that in the league. 7.31 who scored rating, and some of the goals he scored have been really good, like some real nice screamers from outside the box or the edge of the box, nice curlers into the top corner. He's a great finisher, and he's really starting to show the potential that I think a lot of people thought he had.
Yeah, I think the surprise with Martial comes from the fact that, you know, it looked like he wanted out of Man United at one point. He didn't look happy to be there. So to go from that to 17 goals, 6 assists is a great resurgence.
Yeah, incredible season for
him. Where should we go? I'm going to go on Danny Ings, one of the top goal scorers this season. We had an okay season last season on loan at Southampton, but you have to think that this guy's come from a massive injury such as an ACL, and ACLs aren't easy to come back from.
Nope.
You know, we saw Ox had an ACL and he's struggled a bit since he's been back, like the Rustiness, and he has just taught it all in his stride.
He's had 2 of them.
Is it 18 or 19 goals this season?
22.
22,
mate.
Oh, I'm talking Premier League goals.
Yeah, 22.
Really?
Yeah. Second top goal scorer in the league, 22 goals and 32 starts.
Yeah.
An absolutely incredible record for anyone in the league, let alone someone playing for Southampton who finished 11th, for goodness sake. And, you know, this was a surprise. We all knew he had quality. We didn't know he had this much quality.
No. The thing about Danny Ings this season is he's never really... I don't think he's went more than 2 or 3 league matches without a goal. Like it's none of his games are in patches, which is really incredible to think about. When
Consistency.
I was looking through. Yeah, I think 3 Premier League matches is the most he's went without a goal, and a couple of those had substitute appearances as well. So yeah, he's been amazing this season, and I'm really happy for him. I think he definitely deserves this chance to really show his ability, and it's just a shame it didn't work that well at Liverpool, especially because of the injuries he was really unlucky with, and for him to be able to come back from those back-to-back knee injuries, and almost win the Golden Boot. I mean, wow, unreal.
Right, should we talk about Jordan Ayew? Because although his stats, 9 goals, 2 assists, and 37 appearances, don't seem amazing, you've got to think he's playing for Crystal Palace, who really don't create a lot of chances, don't score a lot of goals as a whole team. So those stats aren't that terrible. And if you look at the quality of some of the goals he scored this season, we'll go into one of his contenders later. Like, if you look at the quality and just his quality of his overall performances in the games, I don't think he's going to win this award, but I think he definitely deserves a mention because he's really surprised me this season. I mean, you wouldn't even think he'd be starting, let alone playing as well as he has been.
Yeah, and I read somewhere about like the goals that he scored. He scored 9 in the league, but most of them have either been goals that have ended up winning them the game, or equalizers, or first goals in the match. Like, the goals he typically scores are very important goals, and if you compare him to the rest of the Palace squad, he's got more than double the goals of anyone else in the league. So even though it's only 9 goals, again, take into effect the squad he's in and the way they play under Hodgson. Really good season for him, and he definitely deserves a shout.
True.
I'll go on Mason Greenwood next. Really came out of his shell. He's, probably considered the next Mark Rashford in terms of he's being a youngster, gone through United's academy, has started to flourish in the Prem. He scored some pretty decent goals, and he looks like a lethal finisher. To be honest with you, some of the goals he scored have been fantastic.
Yeah, his left foot is like kind of reminds me of Van Persie in a way. I mean, the way he just strikes the ball, he gets so much power. It's kind of scary. The fact
And
he's
he's
only
two-footed
18.
as well. Very
Yeah,
two-footed.
I've seen him with his right as
So,
well.
I mean, if you look at the stats, 10 goals in 12 starts. I mean, 19 appearances in total, but 12 starts, 10 goals. Incredibly clinical for his age. Looks so comfortable and so he's been there for years. And that's a good comparison. Like Van Persie, the way he just rifles the ball into the net every time. Like, what a finisher.
Yeah, if you look at it, he's got 10 goals in 1,300 minutes in the league. A goal every 130 minutes, which is a very good ratio to have. And for an 18-year-old playing their first league games in their career, Premier League games in their career, amazing. He's also scored 5 in the Europa League in 460 minutes. He's just came out of nowhere, really, hasn't he? Like, it's just, people. I heard some people talking about him, United Academy, and I was like, yeah, whatever. It's just another one of those. And no, he's not. He's something different. And I am quite jealous that they have him. Unfortunately, I feel like he's going to be one of the best strikers or attackers in the world eventually, which is hard to say.
Yeah, it is. They produce good strikers in that academy. You've got to give it to them.
Yeah.
We'll go on to the final one, which is Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who's surprised me incredibly this season because last season I was saying he's awful, and this season I'm not changing my mind too much because I still don't think he's that great, but I think he's overperformed massively. I mean, you've got to respect 13 goals, which is level with Richarlison, who I think is a miles better player. So you've got to respect those statistics. And for him to be starting every game and getting that goal return, he's had 6 less starts than Richarlison as well, the same amount of goals. I think you've got to put some respect on that. I don't think he's ever going to become anything special. You compare him to Mason Greenwood. I don't think he's on the level with him. You see Greenwood go much further, but you've got to respect the season he's had.
Yeah. Anyone want to mention Calvert-Lewin at all?
Well, you know what? Here's the thing. He's managed 13 league goals, but it's a bit of a shame the way his season ended. He didn't score in any of the last 10 league games he played in, which is a shame because I think the lockdown break really affected him. I think he was on a bit of a roll before that. I'm looking now. He scored 5 in the 6 games beforehand with an assist as well. And, he was really starting to show maybe he could be a really solid striker for Everton in the years coming up. So maybe he could have got, mid to high teens. So it is a bit of a shame. But yeah, still a really impressive season for him and definitely a surprise too. So should we get to voting?
I think it's Danny Ings for me. Simple as the fact that he's came back from this. I think we'd have probably put him down as like a 10-goal season striker, and he's just absolutely came out of the blocks. And all credit to him, probably going to get a few England caps from this as well, and well deserved in my opinion.
Yeah. Paddy, you said you had a couple that you were thinking about. Do you want to reveal who those were?
To me, there's a clear winner, and I agree, man. It's Danny Ings. 22 goals is outrageous for an 11th place team. From where he's, with the injuries he's had in the past. The only player that was maybe slightly clouding my judgment a bit, not too much, was Calvert-Lewin, just because of the sheer amount. I thought he was awful. For him to get the amount of goals he has this season, compared to what I thought he was, surprised me more than any of the other players on the list. But I think Danny Ings is a clear winner.
Well,
hang on, whoa! I haven't voted yet, but I was actually a bit stuck between two, you know? I know that's a bit surprising because Danny Ings has done incredibly well, but I was a little bit stuck between him and Greenwood just because an 18-year-old coming out of nowhere and just scoring again and again and again with incredible finishes took me, really did take me by surprise. Um, for such a young player to come into such a big club with, pressure on him, you'd think, and he just thrived in that team and he was starting every game towards the end of the season because of how much he impressed. But no, I think Danny Ings is definitely the worthy winner, considering the injuries he's went through.
Guys,
Fair
I think it's started to snow outside because you've actually agreed with me.
know, yeah.
Honestly, I genuinely looked outside and I was like, oh my God, really? Oh, right. You got me hopes up then.
Yeah.
Now, would you lie?
So,
Right.
centre mids we are.
It really depends who you want to kind of go for.
I think we should do the one that we're all going to agree on first.
Well, or should we do the defensive midfielder? Oh well, because some of us might not have put a defensive midfielder.
I mean, I've just put 3 midfielders who I thought have performed well.
Okay, fair enough. So should we go from best to second best to worst?
Let's just get De Bruyne out the way.
Yeah, we might as well.
Let's go from best to worst then.
Yeah, let's go with Naby Keita. Phenomenal,
Let's
impressive.
go for Genie Wijnaldum.
Let's go with. Unfortunately, on the standpoint of a rival fan, there's sometimes you can see some players look like a broken record by the end of it. Like by the end of the next seasons after that, there is literally no stopping De Bruyne. Like I don't want to be horrible, but if he gets injured, I'm like, please let it be for long term because I can't watch him anymore because he's so good. He is the best. He is one of the best players in the Premier League, easily. If not, he's the best. He's the best midfielder.
Oh, I think he's the best player.
Yeah, I think he's the best midfielder in the world and the best player in the Premier League right now. The only people that could maybe rival him for that in the next year or two would be maybe Salah, Van Dijk.
Yeah, I think Van Dijk is
the likes of them.
And you're thinking in relation to their position, I think Van Dijk.
Yeah,
just him. But I think he's
definitely
still the best.
Yeah, no, De Bruyne. I mean, 20 assists, finally equaling the record from Henry, set 15, 16, 17
Can
years
I just
ago.
I take some of these statistics I couldn't believe. I could believe.
Go on.
They were outstanding. 7.97 average rating. I think the highest on this entire list. 13 goals, 20 assists. Incredible stats for a midfielder, or any position, to be honest. 10 man of the matches, which is more than I'd seen from any other player on this list, which I thought was mad. And he's had the second most minutes at City as well. It's a hard side to get into. So, I mean, you run out of words to talk about De Bruyne, don't you?
Yeah. Here's another little interesting thing. We're talking about who scored ratings, right? He has the 4th highest who scored rating in Europe, behind Messi, Mbappe, and Lewandowski. And when you consider, you'd probably say those leagues are weaker overall in terms of teams being played against. He's done unbelievably well to be there. I mean, he's got higher average rating than the likes of Ronaldo and Werner, for example, and basically everyone else. 20 assists again, unbelievable. The second most assists in Europe this season. And all the goals he seems to score are just bangers.
Yeah.
Everyone, a phenomenal midfielder.
Such a great player to watch as well.
Just a machine in midfield. Yeah.
So do I? I mean, I don't know if this is important, but should I put him on the right side of midfield or left?
Either. You have.
I mean, it would probably be more likely to be on the right side of midfield, wouldn't it?
For those
crossing it in and things like that.
Yeah.
So okay, that's settled.
Yeah.
Let's move on to game of the season.
Yeah, game of the season.
Some solid contenders here.
Mm-hmm.
I'll kick us off talking about. I don't really want to talk about this one, but I'll because it wasn't my suggestion. But the person who suggested it's not here, and that's Norwich 3, City 2. Now, when you look at where Norwich have finished this season, how much they've come last by, and how easily they've been rolled over by a lot of teams this season, for them to beat Man City 3-2, like what an achievement that is! Like for a start, and what a game. You know, I think they went 3-1 up with that game, and then it went to 3-2, and you're thinking, oh, can they hold on? And they did, and it was just so exciting to watch because it was the moment you thought, oh my God, this team are beatable. Liverpool could win the league.
Yeah, this was an incredible game, especially when you look at where Norwich are now. And, you know, City ended the season incredibly well. And this was quite funny because you saw articles afterwards just saying how much Norwich's squad cost and then how much Man City's, and it was ridiculous because I think Norwich had like quite a few players out for that game, if I remember correctly, and they had to actually rotate their side, and everyone thought, oh no, it's going to be like 6-7-0, but somehow they managed.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Like,
Yeah.
I think they had defensive. They had a lot of defensive injuries.
Yeah, they had like a lot of rotation, and they managed to go 2-0 up and 3-1 up and just about
And hold
hold on. Amazing game. I like a true underdog v Goliath, kind of battle, and really exciting to watch. Nerve-wracking from a Liverpool's fan perspective. Yeah, great game.
All right, next one. I don't think we should we cover the 9-0 or we quite covered that quite well in the calamity of the
over
season?
it saying I don't think I'd vote for it because it wasn't. I think a game of the season, it should be a competitive game.
And speaking of competitive game, I am gonna go for my pick now. If that's okay. I picked Sheffield United 3, Manchester United 3, because of. It had a bit of everything. It had goals aplenty. It had Phil Jones screwing up, and it had VAR controversy.
To be fair, that's every game now. Phil Jones.
So Sheffield United went 2-0 up. United brought it back, and they even went 3-2 ahead. And in the very last minute, Ollie McBurney got a contentious goal, which could have been ruled out for handball, but it was given, and 3-3. It was a great contest between two sides who you could tell just really wanted the edge it.
Yeah, completely agree with what you said.
Yeah,
there,
you love a good comeback. You love a good comeback.
Oh yeah, definitely. And love some controversy too, especially when it's against Man United. No bias there whatsoever. But if we're just gonna move this on quickly, because I think Mangan covered that quite well, I'm gonna go with Liverpool 5, Chelsea 3. The night that Liverpool finally got to lift that trophy after 30 years of waiting. And obviously, if you're not a Liverpool fan, you probably didn't like it very much. But
did you nominate this, Ritson?
But no,
Collins nominated.
I was going to say.
I was pretty sure I nominated the Norwich City game, but it's already been covered. It's fine.
Oh, did you?
No, yeah, it's fine. No, don't worry about it.
Oh,
no, it's fine. Not hurt. No, it's fine. I mean, 5-3. I mean, 8 goals. Split relatively evenly, except you got the winner, and it was. I mean, I don't know what to say about this game. I mean, it was exciting and it was all over the place at times with Liverpool's defence in the second half, and some of the goals that were scored. I mean, they were utter screamers. But when you think of like Cater's and then Trent's free kick was amazing. Then you've got to think about Pulisic's goal where he just dribbled past like 3 or 4 of our players. Scoring a great it wasn't his goal, it was his assist to was it Abraham who tapped it home. I think this game was definitely the type of game you want when you're about to lift a trophy, and it fitted the occasion, but away from the occasion itself, it was an amazing game to watch.
I didn't actually really enjoy this game that much, like not from an entertainment standpoint. It was just like being a Liverpool fan, it was just the defending from both teams on show. It was hard to watch from that aspect, and I don't think the game had too much on the line. I think obviously
Chelsea needed to get top 4 still.
Well, true, but also Chelsea knew they could probably lose and still go and win the last game and get top 4, and we didn't have anything to play for. So I don't think I wouldn't put it as the game of the season compared to some of the other games because they were more impactful. But
Fair enough.
And
yeah,
sorry, go on. Yeah, the final one. Oh,
yeah, well, this was my nomination. City v Wolves 3-2. Another comeback story, which we love. And this game really does have everything. City go 2-0 up. Controversially, there was a penalty that got retaken.
Oh,
For, like, Patricio having, like, his little toe off the line or something.
unbelievable.
And then he goes and scores after he saves it. And then there's a red card. And then all of a sudden...
for Edison, for the goalie.
Yes, all of a sudden Wolves come back and end up winning 3-2 with some great goals and some great play from Adama Traore, some late drama. And this was maybe the moment that Liverpool fans thought, I think we're going to win this.
We were in the pub for this, weren't we, Paddy?
And that's why it stands out for me, this game. That's why it gets my vote.
Yeah, we were in the pub for this when watching this.
Yeah.
An 89th minute
Liverpool.
winner for Doherty.
Was it? I thought it was like 82nd minute.
No, it was late.
You know what? It's quite funny you say that because Jimenez did score the equaliser in the 82nd minute as well.
Oh, that's probably why.
Yeah. No, great game and a great comeback, some controversy. And I really liked Traore's goal where he just pinged it along.
No, his performance that game, like, you got to respect that. Like,
yeah,
that's the game where we thought, okay, this guy's really got something.
Yeah, he's finally getting a bit of end product. Maybe this guy will be the real deal.
Needs more consistency, in my opinion, but you know, who knows? At a bigger club, he could show it.
All right, I'm going to kick off the voting, and I'm going to go Norwich 3, Man City 2. I think the whole, David Goliath story, especially, I mean, not that Norwich needed to have any less of a chance, but with the injuries and the rotation they had and everything, the drama at the end and everything, I think it was just a really good game to watch, like a great story almost. So that's right.
Paddy?
Well, I've already said Wolves 3, City 2. That's my vote.
This is horrible because I wanted. I'm gonna have to choose on it because you're not gonna choose mine. Let's be honest.
Wait, hold on. What was your choice?
I was gonna choose.
Just vote for whatever you think.
I was gonna choose Sheffield United against Man United. The 3-3.
Okay, that's fine. So now me and Ritson have to decide. Oh well, me, Ritson, and Mangan have to decide which one out of the other two we would vote for. So Mangan, do you want to go first?
I would have to say Wolves City because I watched it in the pub. We were watching it in the pub, and the emotions that were running through. We never expected it to be a massive game because once City went 2-0 up, we thought that was going to be it, and then just all went on its head.
I think this is a bit of Liverpool bias though for that. There's a bit of Liverpool bias. That's why I went with Norwich. I feel like if we're taking
even that game had quite an impact for us as well.
True. But you say about being in the pub, blah blah blah. I feel like as a game. No,
it was still a great game.
It doesn't matter. We have our votes. So what would you pick, Ritson, out of the Wolves game and the Sheffield United?
I'm going to go with Sheffield United v Man United. So have that.
How dare you?
What would you pick?
I was going to go Sheffield United, Man United. To be fair, I just think it had more drama, more controversy.
I'm not gonna lie, I lied. I wasn't actually gonna go for Sheffield Man United.
I just shut up.
I did that because I thought maybe I could get my two.
Wait, really?
So
you actually vote for Wolves?
No, yeah, I actually would have thought for Wolves, but
all right, well I win.
I'm sorry, Mangan. I'm sorry.
Actually, poor form that you wanted. To pick the Sheffield United one because you thought yours would have.
We're not playing games here. This is very serious.
I was gonna admit it. I just thought I'd see if I could somehow maneuver it.
Well, we've got some controversy in our tier list, lads.
I mean, yeah, I had to spice things up.
This is a controversial award ceremony. Gotta say.
Right. Okay. Well, let's move on to some controversy to our second.
So we'd say who's like the second best midfielder in your opinion?
Henderson.
I think this is another easy one for us all to pick. I think it has to be Henderson. I can't believe I'm actually going to have to say this kind of things, considering my previous opinions of Henderson a few years ago. I didn't ever expect him to have as good a season as he had this year, especially when you consider he has that injury with his ankle, which has has forced him to change the way he plays. He's been, a fantastic leader for Liverpool. And when you're thinking of sentimental reasons, 30 years to be able to lead a team after the heartbreak of last season, missing out by a point, and away from just, being a leader and everything on the pitch, defensively, really solid, always tackling, pressuring opposition players, and in the big games especially, you can tell he gets that extra adrenaline rush because you see him everywhere sometimes. I think his passing's improved, his overall play has improved year on year. He's got a few goals, few assists, and yeah, I think he definitely deserves to be in Team of the Year.
Well, if you could see the smug look on my face right now.
Well, hey, listen,
Oh,
I'm
oh, oh.
I'm man enough to admit that Henderson's had a great season.
And I appreciate that.
So
I'd like to be a sore winner here and say I've been backing Henderson for years, and no one can deny that because everyone knows I've been backing Henderson for years.
Yeah.
And he's finally come up good for me. Well,
Yeah.
I'd say finally. He's been good all other seasons, but this season he's really took it to the next level.
Yeah. No,
if I can just reel off some stats,
okay,
7.15 rating average, second average tackles at Liverpool, 4 goals, 5 assists, which is not bad for a player that is not in there to do that sort of thing.
Yeah,
and he's already won the Football Writers Player of the Year as well, so it shows what football experts think of him as well.
Journalists. Let's not say they're experts because
some of them, people who study the game.
Yeah. But no,
some of them are idiots. I agree. But...
I obviously know that you've been backing Henderson, but I'm not going to take back what I thought of him a few years ago. I really did think that he had like a couple of really good seasons for us, like as a box to box with, a lot more forward play where he used to score some more goals and assists and stuff. I thought he had dropped off and that maybe he just wasn't up to it anymore. But somehow, he's adapted. And this season, I'd say after October, because I think for the first month or two, he really stunk it up. But after that, he was great. And I wouldn't take nothing away from him. But I think he started the season slowly and then he really got into a rhythm and he's been great since.
I think let's just put him in now. I think you guys have said the best. I can't really add anything else to it.
It's really annoying me that Johnny Egan's there and not Chris Basham. Just have to.
That's your own fault. You said
it's not my own fault.
You said you had it all sorted, and then
I didn't realize this team of the season generator thing with Sky Sports was so terrible, and you had to pick from their choices, not your own. Ridiculous.
All right, okay. So we're on goal of the season next. Who wants to kick off?
I'm gonna kick off with my nomination. And I really believe that this is a special goal by Jordan Ayew. Now, we talked about him before being possibly the surprise package, I think it was. This goal against West Ham is so special. Now, the thing why I like this goal so much is while we all love an absolute thunderbolt from 30 yards or a great free kick or whatever, Jordan Ayew provides us with about 3 moments of brilliance in about 10 seconds or less. Dribbling past 2 players, then into a little spin to take another 1 or 2 defenders out of the game, and then a little side-to-side shuffle to get past 2, and then dinking the keeper, having the composure to dink the keeper after basically just running through the entire defence, and not just using pace to get past them, not just outpacing 4 defenders, skill to outmaneuver them, turn them, twist them, and then dink the keeper. Unreal goal, and I think this should actually win it. I'll spoil that right now for you.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, it's a strange one. Like, it's a good goal. Don't get me wrong, but it's not like something that really sticks out in my mind. What does stick out on my mind though is Son Heung-min's goal.
Well, hang on,
Burnley.
Well, hang on. I also just want to add one thing to Ayew. Ayew's goal is that was a last-minute winner as well. That's not just like a goal middle of the game or 2-0 up, where that won them the game, which I think is a little extra thing for that goal. But anyway, moving on.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think Son Heung-min's goal against Burnley is the epitome of a tenacious striker. You know, he went from halfway inside his own box to score without passing, he took it by about 4 or 5 midfield defenders,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a pretty great goal. It's probably one of my picks.
Yeah, I wouldn't even say it was pretty great. I think it was an amazing goal. And to be honest, before I remembered Ayu's goal, I had this as one of my very, very top picks. I was really thinking about awarding this, but then when I remember Ayu's goal, that's why I ended up nominating that. And I knew Son's goal would get nominated anyway. Yeah, no, this is a great goal, from one box to the other, taking on, several players and just absolutely outpacing them, flicking it around one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Great goal, yeah.
And think about if Messi did that.
Oh yeah,
the reaction.
Yeah. I think that's similar to Ayu if Messi did that goal too. I think those two are kind of in that similar category, really.
But we've spoken about 2 goals that a bit of skill, bit of intricacy. Let's talk about an absolute thunderbolt. Let's talk about De Bruyne's goal against Newcastle.
Yeah, this goal. I can't. I mean, I forgot about this goal, but I saw a video of it the other day when the nominations were put forward, and I was just struck back by how hard he hit this. I mean, it's like it was hit with Thor's hammer. Really, it's just so pure on the volley, the way he chests it down, and no keeper in the world is stopping this at all. No chance. Unreal.
It's an amazing goal, like aesthetically. Like I just love like a rifle, especially like on the half volley or whatever it was.
Yeah,
it just looks so good. It's
and off the bar too.
Yeah,
the noise it makes on the bar. I'm surprised it didn't snap it in half. As commentators always like to say. But
yeah,
I want to know how fast it was actually going, because bloody hell, what a rocket! Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, okay, let's move it on again. Let's go from, an outright thunderbolt to something with a bit more accuracy. Let's go with Jack Grealish. A bit more finesse on this goal against Man United at Old Trafford, and maybe is partly a reason why they actually want to sign him now. Gets the ball down the left wing, turns inside in almost a crossing position, really, and somehow curls this ball all the way over to the far top corner, looping over De Gea, who can't really do much about this either. I mean, this is a great goal. Like, this just shows all the technical ability. Not much power at all, just pure technique. And yeah, this belongs in the nominations for sure.
Yeah, to do that from the angle he did at Old Trafford.
It was Beckham-like, the curl he got on it.
Yeah, it was incredible technique. It was a great goal to watch.
Yeah, it reminds me a bit of reminds me of Delafeu's goal, a bit like
yes, I do.
Yeah. Yeah, a bit like that.
I think Delafeu's was better.
Yeah, and I think
same.
Yeah, it was a great goal, killer. And let's move on to the last one. I think, Paddy, you should talk about the bicycle kick, particularly his name.
Oh, well, Kambash. Something like that.
Mine really stuck to it.
Can I? I'll call him Jack.
Lazy.
No, I reckon that's what all his mates call him. All right, Jack, how's it going?
Yeah.
This was not my nomination. It's a great goal, and it was scored in like the 83rd minute or something to against Chelsea, the equaliser to get them a draw in that game. So it's an impactful goal as well, which is important, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Brilliant technique. Overhead kicks very difficult to do and execute like he did to get the accuracy he did. But in my opinion, Danny Welbeck's was better.
Yeah, same. I thought the exact same thing. That's it. That's why I probably wouldn't have voted for it. I thought Welbeck's was better by a mile, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I did just like the placement of Welbeck's. It just looks a bit better.
Okay,
That's just my opinion.
I think we should vote here then.
Paddy, kick it off for us.
Can I say, I don't think it's been that great a season for goals this season. I think you get a lot better. We've had a lot better goals in other seasons, but the winner for me, I'm going to say Son. I think the uniqueness of this goal, like how often you see someone running from the length of the pitch, essentially pure pace, pure skill, beating the whole Burnley team, who were a outstanding defensive team. So and then finishing it off at the end of it.
Yeah, I've already kind of spoiled it, saying I'd go for Jordan Ayew. I think not just the goal, I think is unbelievable, but I don't think anyone would expect him to do that goal either. Being able to the turn he did, the little shuffle, and the little dink over the keeper too. It's just really caught my eye. It's just slightly more than Son's did, but I don't think it matters because I think Mangan's about to outvote me.
Well, I am going to make it awkward.
Oh.
For Ritson by saying Son's the winner.
Come on, lads.
Because
thought so.
I gave you a bit of false hope. No, I said my piece about why I thought Son's was the best, and
fair enough. It's a great goal. As I said before, before I remembered Ayew's goal, I was gonna nominate Son's. So fair
There's
enough.
The winner, lads. There's the winner.
I'm not gonna argue.
Speaking of awkward, we've got our final midfielder spot.
I don't know how that was a transition, but it was.
It probably will be.
I think it will be a good transition, to be fair. Right, our last midfielder. Now, this is probably where we're going to start disagreeing. Paddy, do you want to nominate first? Who are you going for?
I'm going to kick the voting off with Wilfred Ndidi from Leicester. Wasn't actually in my initial team of the season because I wanted to make it 4-4-2. But seeing as we voted 4-4-3, 4-4-3.
4-3-3.
As soon as we voted 4-3-3, I had to make adjustments, and I've put Ndidi in there, and I'll reel off some stats for you. 7.23 average rating, averages 4 tackles per game, which is incredibly high. It's the second most in Leicester squad behind Ricardo Pereira. He has the I can't speak. Averages the highest interceptions at Leicester as well, and has contributed to Leicester having the 6th best defence in the league, and they play quite an expansive style. So them having a good defensive record is more impressive, I would say.
Yeah, Mangan, you want to?
I never thought I'd see the day. I've said Ndidi as well.
Oh,
I've actually said Ndidi as well. Yeah.
Do you want to anything to add to Paddy's?
No, I think Paddy's made it quite clear. I think he's been a solid force at the back. He's been a great player. We worried for Leicester. I know a couple of seasons ago when Kante left, who would be his replacement. I think he's been a good replacement for him, and he had an extra good season this season as well.
Wow. Well, this was very unexpected from you guys, I've got to say, because I also have Wilfred Ndidi. I think he's one of the best defensive midfielders in the league, maybe the world, to be honest. I really like Ndidi as a player. I think he's phenomenal. He's everywhere on the pitch, and he's so good defensively. He'll win the ball back about 10 times a game for you from tackles and interceptions. And, he pressures virtually more than anyone else. And I think, he's just so solid, reliable. And if you've got him in your team, you are going to concede less goals than you were beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the kind of player he is.
And incredibly, only 23.
Yeah, he honestly has got such a bright future because
I'm looking at a big transfer possibly, and I'm thinking instantly Man United, because I think with Pogba and Fernandes in that midfield,
oh my God, no.
They need a really solid defensive midfielder to hold that, so to give them freedom.
God.
and I'm thinking him. And I've already seen that Manchester United have shown some interest.
Oh,
Although I think they'd have to pay a serious amount of money.
they really would, because as I said, I think this guy's one of the best defensive midfielders in the world right now. And if United got him, I would really, really hate that because they would have a really insanely good midfield then, and a very well balanced one too. But I'm glad we all agreed on this straight away. Yeah.
I'm surprised that you didn't think we would.
I don't know. I just expected
I don't
controversy.
know. I thought it was clear.
Well, I knew Ndidi wasn't in your original plans.
Yeah, no, but I obviously have to change because
Yeah. But okay, right. Well.
Right.
Let's move on.
First reserve he would have been. So
Move on to a flop of the season. Well, 2 of the 5 of these are goalies, and if you want to hear more about them, we've got a great podcast that we released on Tuesday for Premier League goalkeepers. But we can go over them a bit quickly. Kepa and Pick. I'm going to talk about them both at the same time. Really, they've both had poor seasons. Kepa is probably statistically one of the worst goalkeepers to have ever played, and Jordan Pickford.
Whoa! I didn't even say to have ever played.
No, in the Premier League, with his save percentage and all that, and average expected goals and stuff.
He's down there.
Pickford has lost all his confidence. Basically, he makes stupid mistakes, and he still has the arrogance to prove that he's good.
I don't think that's arrogance.
No, he is quite an arront player. Let's be honest.
Yeah, he is arrogant.
Yeah, he is, but yeah, I don't think proving you're good is being arrogant. like you've always got to try that. But I get what you're saying.
But yeah, these 2 goalies have had poor seasons, and the fact that Chelsea are considering trying to offload Kepa just shows how bad the season it is.
You got to also
go on.
You got to also take into account the 65, 70 million.
72 million, I think it was. Or was that 75? Because
I think it might have been 75. You know,
one of the other players here was 72 million.
Yeah.
Can I just go statistical on your asses again?
Okay, go for it.
With these 2 keepers. So 8 clean sheets for Kepa, which is less than Watford and Brighton. Lowest save percentage in the league.
By miles.
Most expensive goalkeeper in the world. And for Pickford, 9 clean sheets, which is level with Watford and Brighton.
Oh wow!
The second lowest save percentage in the league behind Kepa, and the second most errors leading to goals in the entire league. And that's not just keepers; that's every single player.
Oh dear!
Yeah, he's got the second most errors out of every player in the league.
Right,
I can't remember who was first, but
I'm gonna go with my own nomination now. I'm gonna go with Joe Linton of Newcastle.
It was Dubravka who was the most errors, but go on.
Oh, wow. Anyway, I'm gonna go with Joe Linton. This guy was signed for 40 million, I think it was, from by Newcastle, and has probably been maybe the most disappointing signing of the season, possibly. I think he's supposed to be a talented striker, and big, physical, would probably fit in a team at Newcastle, but he scored 2 goals and he started 32 of the league games.
God.
2 goals in 32 starts. Now, he makes Firmino look like a goal machine, and Firmino's not had a great goal scoring season. A goal scoring season, has he? But obviously, Firmino's still done all right. But so, yeah, two goals in 2,700 minutes.
So what I thought I'd do is I'd compare him to other players at Newcastle.
Oh God!
Who've scored the same amount of goals? And I'm just going to list these players off for you. Kieran Clark.
Okay, centre back.
Federico Fernandez.
Centre back.
Florian Lejeune, who got his 2 goals in the one game. No, he got his 2 goals in 5 minutes against Everton.
Oh my God!
He got more goals in 5 minutes as a centre back than Joe Linton's got in the entire season. Well, no, not more, the same
The
amount.
same.
Yeah. And Jethro Willems,
Left back.
two goals, left back. And maybe the funniest one, Matty Longstaff, who's made 6 starts the entire season.
Minutes. 573 minutes he's played, and he's got the same amount of goals from
What
midfield.
I would say is that I don't know why they paid 40 million in the first place, because I'm pretty sure he had 7 goals last season. I mean, so to be fair, I think he's been a bit hard done by, because I don't think he was. I think his price tag made us think he was better than he was, but he had 7 goals last season for probably a more creative team than Newcastle. So
here's the thing.
I don't think it's that surprising.
Here's the thing. He played 500 minutes less, and he also got 5 assists last season too. And he's young. You'd expect him to improve. We know he's an attacking player anyway, even maybe if he's not an out-and-out striker. 2 goals is, I mean, honestly, retirement. Like, that's how bad that is. Like, on 2 goals.
And we're thinking 40 million for Newcastle is a hell of a lot of money.
Wow. Yeah, I know.
They do not spend Michael Owen was their record signing for years.
Yeah, so
this was a risk taken and a risk failed.
Yeah. 2 goals, 2 assists. So he has a goal contribution every 675 minutes in the league. I mean,
that Lejeune thing has just made me laugh.
Nice.
Save our goals in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Another
signing that was made this season, but probably didn't get as much attraction as the last one, is Ravel Morrison. I think it's tough to call flop of the season when he's literally not played and he was a free transfer.
Can I tell you how many minutes, how much he's played, Mangan?
12 minutes, or is it 0?
12 minutes.
Oh my God, the 12 minutes was a guess.
Yeah, he's literally played 12 minutes in the entire season, which is 4 minutes less than Jack Rodwell. Now he must be doing something wrong in trading for Chris Wilder not to pick him for a start. So that's why you could probably call him flop.
Well, he's always had an attitude problem, hasn't he?
Another thing is, right, you've got people like Wayne Rooney and Rio Ferdinand saying this guy was more naturally talented than Pogba, but his attitude stunk, which is why he's where he is. And 12 minutes played, that's unreal.
I think that's all we can say about him, really.
I mean, that really is. That's all I've got written down.
Let's talk about the last signing. Whose nomination was this?
I don't know. I think it was a group decision, this one, to be fair.
Yeah,
but I think it's fair. I think it's fair to nominate him because of his price tag, 72 million, and the expectations, because he was the top goal scorer. Second top goal scorer in Ligue 1 last season, wasn't he? 20-odd goals for Lille. Incredible. Was it Lille?
Yeah, it was Lille. Yeah, no, was it? Oh my God,
I think it was.
I think it was. I
could be wrong. He wasn't playing for one of the top clubs in France, so we were expecting big things from him, and he's got 5 goals and 6 assists. And he's made 22 appearances because
it was Lille. It was Lille.
Yeah, because of his form, he's only made 22 appearances, 5 goals, 6 assists, which it's just not good enough for what you would expect from him and what Arsenal brought from him. What I would say compared to the other players on this list, which is why I don't think he'll win this award, is at least he's shown promise. At least he's shown some pretty strong glimpses of what he can do and what he probably will do in the future. And you wouldn't be surprised if he went far.
Yeah, again, I think you've pretty much hit the nail on the head, to be dead honest with you. He has been poor, but what else can you really talk about except for he has shown promise. He has scored a couple of good goals, and I think this is going to be clear because I think I've already made up my mind about who's
going to
be voted in this. Yeah, I think I already did.
I kind of lean towards one person, which was different from my initial vote.
Yeah, I'm gonna vote Joe Linton.
All right, Paddy, I want to know your initial vote, and I want to know what your vote is now.
So I think my initial vote was probably Kepa. Just because, most expensive goalkeeper in the world having the worst save percentage, and only 8 clean sheets is poor. But I think I'm gonna have to go with Joelinton.
Interesting.
Just that 2 goals, 40 million for Newcastle is so much money, and 2 goals is pathetic. Like, level on goals with Lejeune, who got his 2 goals in 5 minutes. Oh god, it's so poor.
It is embarrassing for him as a professional to have that. But I think, see, I nominated Joelinton, but that was because I thought it was just signings, not just overall. And because of overall, I'm actually going to go the opposite direction and go with Kepa. Not that it matters, because you both vote for Joelinton. I think they're both worthy winners of being, one of the trashiest players this season. They're both.
I'd say Joelinton, Kepa, and Pickford could all win it.
Yeah, they've both been diabolical players, and they seriously need to reconsider their life choices at this point. But Kepa has been a worst goalkeeper that's actually started for a team consistently I've seen in a long time. This guy has just over a 50% save ratio. That is beyond bad. 10% worse than Pickford. 10% worse save percentage than Pickford.
I think the reason I haven't gone for Pickford, despite seeing some of his stats and how bad they are, is because I didn't expect Jordan Pickford to be that bad, but I didn't really expect too much of Jordan Pickford. I've never rated him that highly in the first place. Yeah. So I think that's why I don't think he's flopped as much as a Joelinton or Kepa, because I expected more from them.
Yeah, no, the money they paid for Kepa and the fact he's 10% worse save percentage than Jordan Pickford, who's also up for this nomination, is why I have to go for him. But fair enough for Joelinton. He's also as embarrassingly bad.
I feel like I want to make it a joint award, but winner. But
it
was a tough decision. But I'm going with Joelinton.
Yeah. They can both lift the trophy together.
You know what I'll do? I'll put Kepa. I'll give him a little percentage in the yellow. I'll move him into the yellow a little bit. So he gets a little mention.
Being that bad, he does deserve it, to be fair.
Yeah. Okay. So that leaves us with the forwards now. Of the team of the season.
Is it okay if we can go with right winger first?
Yeah.
I think that's all right. I am going to go with one of the Liverpool wingers, and the Liverpool winger I've chosen is Salah. 19 goals, 10 assists, and this from a player people still say is a one-season wonder. He's still a fantastic player. He's a fantastic threat. He links up so well with the front three. You can see him drop inside. You can say he's greedy a bit, but most goal scorers are. And I think he's had another great season.
Yeah, second most goal contributions in the league behind De Bruyne. 19 goals, 10 assists, showing he can score and create. I agree with this pick. Though I do feel like his finishing this season has been subpar. For him, not in general. I feel like he honestly could have had 30 goals this season if he was just a bit more clinical. But overall, as a player, he's been great yet again. Third world-class season in a row for him, proving more people wrong as more games go past.
Yeah, I think if I can say one negative about him, and there aren't many, it's that sometimes he tries too hard and he's too selfish sometimes. You feel like he's constantly focused on being the top goal scorer in the league, overly focused, and he's just he tries too hard to score, and that can affect him sometimes. But as you said, 19 goals, 10 assists, second most goal contributions, 6 man of the matches, 7.4 average rating. I've been back and forth a bit with him and Aubameyang, maybe putting Aubameyang in this side, but looking at Aubameyang's goal contributions, 22 goals, 3 assists. I'm thinking, looking at that, I'm thinking, if I'm not putting Aubameyang in as a striker, I can't put him in at all. Yeah. I know Aubameyang's played on the wing, but he is a striker.
Yeah.
So,
well, this is gonna suck.
I've ultimately gone with Salah.
Okay.
Oh no.
You
I'm
just
just
spoiled it a
reading
bit.
Aubameyang's Mangan's pick on the left, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Right.
Right. If I can just. Oh my god. I can't find Salah. Oh, you know why it is? Oh wait, hold on. Oh no, there it is. Oh thank God, I got him. That would have been a disgrace if he was on there. You know, it's because they've classed Mane as a striker on this and Salah as a midfielder, which is
That's
a
so
bit
weird.
strange.
That's really
Would
weird.
you either have them? Yeah, either have them both as strikers or both as midfielders. Like they're kind of like in between, you know.
Yeah, that's weird. So on to signing of the season now.
Signing.
Mangan, do you want to kick us off for this one?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with what people would probably think. Actually, yeah, I'm probably gonna go with what's considered the obvious one, really. Bruno Fernandes. He's come into United. He's revolutionised the team. Basically, he's galvanised them into a proper club again. Before Fernandes, they were wasting points left and right. With Fernandes, they look a more devastating threat. He scored goals. He's assisted. He's been one of the most successful signings in history, like the start of the season, like the start of his career in the Prem. I thought he was going to be overrated when he joined first. How wrong I was, and yeah, he's just been a great player.
If I could just emphasize his impact. Now, before he joined, United were 14 points off Leicester, who were third at the time. And at the end of the season, they finished 4 points ahead of Leicester and in third position. I mean, that's quite an impact. And 14 appearances, 8 goals, 7 assists. I mean, a few penalties along the way. But we're not going to take it away from him. He's had an incredible impact on that side. He's turned them from looking a really poor side to Man United again. And that worries me a bit.
I'm not worried, to be honest, unless they do make some extra signings. I think he's obviously been really great for them. However, I do think slightly overrated by some people for how good he's been. I still think he's been great, by the way. I think he's made a great impact. He has changed that side, as he said. But 4 penalties of those 8 goals, and also his assists, if you look at them, they are like most of them aren't actually that great. They're kind of like at least 2 of them are just passes to Martial, who then boots it from 25 yards. And when you look at big chances created and stuff, he hasn't got many at all. So I think the players he's passed to have severely outperformed the quality of the chance that they had and being able to finish them. But I'm not going to, use that to take away the fact that he should be nominated for this, because of course he should. He came in January and he really has taken to the Premier League like a natural, like he's been here for years. Made a great impact at United. Even without penalties, 4 goals is still good for a midfielder, and they've clearly improved as a side since he came in. If he carries on the form he's had, then maybe I'll be a little concerned. But will he be able to carry on? We don't know quite yet. Let's hope not, as a Liverpool fan.
Can I just say, though, anyone putting him in your team of the season, please stop.
Yeah, no, that is...
It's team of the season. It's in the title, not team of the half season. Not team of the second half of the season.
Yeah,
it's
it's also not team of the who's on form right now. Right?
Yeah.
Let me just get that right. 38 games. If someone has a bad end to the season, that doesn't mean they had a bad season. Okay?
Yeah, I mean, people it's recency bias. People haven't.
Yeah.
People are seeing someone who's playing well now, and they think, "Oh yeah, he has had a good season." But no, he's just playing well now at the end of the season, and that sticks in people's minds.
I saw Alan Shearer put Raheem Sterling in his team of the season over Salah. And I honestly, I clenched.
Consistency-wise,
I clenched my fist in anger by the ridiculousness of that pick. I mean, he scored 8 of his 20 goals in like the last 7 games after the league was wrapped up.
Yeah.
But anyway, this isn't about Sterling, but I'm just saying about the recency bias is definitely a thing.
All right.
That does need to be stopped. But anyway, let's move on. I'm going to talk a little bit about Gabriel Martinelli at Arsenal. This is a guy with a lot of potential for sure. He's not been given that many chances, and when he has played, I have usually been impressed by him. It's a bit of a mystery why he hasn't started.
Well, no,
the
it's
game
not. It's not
Arsenal.
because he's been injured
Oh,
most
has
of
he?
the season. Yeah,
Yeah.
Has he?
yeah. I think he definitely would have played a lot more. He's been injured most of the
Okay.
season.
Okay.
He's only had 6 starts, but he
Yeah.
got 3 goals, 3 goals and 6 starts, and he's 19 years old. I think he's mainly in here because he's 19. He cost us 6 million.
And because there's not been any great signings this
No, to
season.
be fair, there hasn't. We maybe could have put Wan-Bissaka in here, but 50 million, we were a bit like, has he lived up to that quite? I
Value
don't
for
know.
money. It's not like he's.
Yeah, I mean, he could have been in it, but compared to
Yeah.
the others, we like these options better.
No.
But I think he's in there because of he's gonna be like I think he's gonna definitely prove to be a great signing. I mean, 6 million for a 19-year-old who looks like he could be a fantastic footballer in the future. I mean, you can't go wrong with that.
Yeah, no, the guy looks like he really is going to be a future star. It's a bit like Greenwood. You just know he's going to be a world class talent. You just know it. He's just got that about him. And not only, I know this is about Premier League signings, but he has scored 4 goals in 2 League Cup games. He scored 3 goals and 2 assists in 5 starts in the Europa League as well. So when he has got his chances, I didn't know about the injury, but when he has got his chances earlier in the season, he has really shown that, listen, I'm a talent, and I'm gonna be starting for this team very soon. So yeah, great signing, especially for the money they got him for.
I'm gonna now talk about one that maybe didn't get the headlines and stuff. They probably could have. Neo Mope for Brighton. You can see sometimes when strikers come up from the Championship to the Premier League, they do struggle quite a bit, and I think Mope's taking it under his stride. I think he got 10 goals, 3 assists, I think, in the Prem this season. To be in a Brighton team that doesn't really score loads, but he's made the best of it. Fair play to him. He's done what he can do to get the win for his team. He's done well, I think, and he's really been a handful whenever he's played.
It's really hard for me to think of Neil Mope and not think of Ty from Arsenal Fan TV.
Yeah, it's tough.
I mean, you got to love him just for that, to be honest, Mope. But if I can get a bit more statistical again, 16 million is pretty reasonable price for someone that's given them 10 goals, which is double the amount of the next player at Brighton, which is Trossard, who's got 5 goals. What am I looking at here? Brighton have only scored 39 goals as a whole, and he's got 10 of them, and that's in 30 starts. And Brighton, Brighton are 15th in the Prem, so I think 10 goals is a strong goal return from him. And if Brighton, you look at Brighton looking to develop in the future, bringing Lallana in, a few more little flair players, more creative players. He could definitely maybe move up towards the 15 goal bracket and be a striker.
23 as well, so I think the likes of a Lallana coming into that team is really going to help Brighton and him get even more goals. And also, you said how they'd scored 39 goals in the league, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he's got 10 goals and 3 assists, meaning his goal contributions of a third of Brighton's whole team.
That works out nicely.
Yeah, it's a very nicely fits that one. Just a nice, really good value for money signing. I think for them, they needed a nice solid striker up there, and he's young, 23. So this is a really good move for Brighton as they want to develop more. It does show a bit of ambition, and I think a really good return for them.
So I quite like to talk about St. Maximin from Newcastle. Now you're looking at Newcastle in the summer and you're thinking, what do they need to improve the squad? And I think the main thing you're looking at is someone with a bit of pace, someone with a bit of flair to add something a bit exciting to that lineup. And boy, did they do that with St. Maximin. 16 million, again, same as Mope, French connection. So pretty much a bargain. And to me, without him this season, Newcastle possibly could have been looking relegation zone. I think he's been that impactful. Only 3 goals and 4 assists, But it's not just about that with him. It's about how about his build up play and his general play and his skills, his flair, and how he makes defenders scared and how he runs at defenders and pulls other teams backwards and makes them think, tires them out, things like that. He's got the most man of the matches at Newcastle. And he's got a 7.29 average rating. And the next highest in the Newcastle squad is 6.97, with John Joe Shelby. So that's quite a leap. So for me, he's been incredibly impactful for that Newcastle side.
I love St. Maximin. I really like him. I would love it if Liverpool
sound like Kevin Keegan there.
I was about to say,
yeah.
Love it if we signed him.
I'd love it if I signed him. Love it. His dribbling is as good as anyone's in the world, really, when you think about it. The stuff he does with how agile, the flair he does things. I'm not joking. His dribbling is, he's as talented as anyone on the ball. It's just about that end product. And if he can get that end product, it's a bit like Traore in that respect, is on the ball and what he can do with it on his feet. Amazing. I mean, mind-blowing when you're watching him and so much fun to watch him play.
Yeah, for me, for Traore and Maximum, the bar is Gnabry. That's what they need to be looking at as where they need to end up from where they are. Because Gnabry was that type of player once.
I think St. Maximin can definitely get there as well. I think, he's only playing for Newcastle right now. No offense, but they are a very good side. They finished 13th, and a big reason they finished that high was him. The way he can just take, the thing is, goals and assists are important, yeah. But when you look at what he offers on the ball, his dribbling, being able to beat those couple of players can do a lot in a move towards a goal. Being able to get past that press or whatever can come in handy. And I think as the seasons went on, his end product has improved too. So, yeah, really exciting player.
All right, yeah. Might as well talk a bit about Pulisic. This is a weird one for me, because I haven't really noticed him until after lockdown, when he's really came into life. He's really came into the form since then. I think he's been good before lockdown when he played, but nowhere as good as what he is now. I thought he was Hazard-esque.
I think he was in and out the squad, though. I think he was in and out the squad. Chelsea couldn't quite figure out what their best side was, and I think he might have been injured a bit. I can't remember,
but yeah, he's been pretty good. But yeah, I think we should vote now. Really.
Whoa! I've got more to say about Pulisic.
God.
Quickly, but he's only made 19 starts, and he's got 9 goals and 4 assists in those 19 starts, 25 appearances in total. He's got the most man of the matches at Chelsea, joint with a couple of other people, 7.18 average rating. And you saw the other week the way he changed the game versus Liverpool. Looks like an incredible talent, and incredible young talent for the future. And that's kind of what we're more basing the signing of the season on in terms of him. I don't think he's been quite as impactful as some of the other players, but I think long term he will be.
Yeah, he's got 4 goals and 3 assists in his last 10 appearances, and he's got a goal or assist every 133 minutes in the league this season, which is really impressive. To be fair, especially for a winger, I think he's a great player, and he could become scary good in the future, especially if he keeps up that the form he has had after lockdown. Yeah.
Let's vote then.
All right. You go first.
I'm going to kick it off, and I'm going to go with Alan St. Maximin. This is purely for just how exciting a player he is to watch. I love watching him. He's great. I'm not sure if he knows what he's going to do next, because I certainly don't, and nobody else does. But the guy can do pretty much anything with the ball at his feet, and he can beat anyone or any amount of defenders in just a couple seconds. So I just have to pick him just for the excitement factor.
All right, Paddy?
The league.
It's got to be Bruno Fernandes for me. Before he joined, as I said, 14 points off Leicester. After, end of the season, 4 points ahead of Leicester, finishing the top 4, which is huge for Man United. His impact can't be understated.
Yeah, I completely agree. At the end of the day, he's joined in January and he's still got 8 goals. 7 assists.
Yeah.
No,
In
doesn't
terms,
matter if it's penalties or what, but he's still got the goals at the end of the day.
yeah, in terms of impact, I think you do have to go with Bruno. I just really like watching Saint Maximin, so that's why I went for him.
Fair enough. Should we move on to the left wing of our team of the season? And I think we already know we all vote Mangan. So do you want to tell us why?
I just think he's a great player. I think he's quite versatile. He can play up front or on the wings, and he's still gotten goals. He was Golden Boot winner last season. He lost the Golden Boot this season by 1 point still. I just think he's a great player. He's got the pace. He's got the clinical nature of him. He's a out and out great player, and I think the Premier League will miss him because I think he's leaving this season.
So I think what's interesting is you've put Salah on the right wing, and not included Mane, because a lot of people would say that Mane's been better than Salah this year. Would you disagree, Mangan?
It's a tough one. I love Sergio, I'm a Liverpool fan till I die, but I just think Aubameyang's nicked it for me. I think you could say what you said about Salah, you could say about Mane a bit. I think Mane is certainly less greedy, but there is still the greed in him. You can see it. It's just my opinion,
Well, you're entitled to your opinion, but I completely disagree with it. Mane's managed 18 goals, and considering Aubameyang's always been that natural goal scorer, he's really not far behind. He's got more assists than Aubameyang. His average rating is 7.45 on Who Scored. Aubameyang's is like 7.03, which obviously doesn't mean everything.
What?
But also, it says that Aubameyang's actually played as a centre forward more than he has on the left this season. And then if we look at overall things, stats, Mane's a better playmaker, a better dribbler, better at pressure and defenders, more touches in the box. And then, non-penalty goals. This is interesting. Per 90 minutes, non-penalty goals, they have the exact same ratio per 90, which I think is quite interesting because obviously Mane doesn't take any penalties. And for me, I think Mane has been so important for us. I think it's hard to say if he's been better than Salah. I'm a bit unsure. I probably might lean towards Mane, to be fair, just for his overall play. And I think just because of his overall play compared to Aubameyang, who doesn't get involved in the play nearly as much, but still, Mane's able to score so many goals. That's why I'm giving it to Mane.
Yeah, Mane has a 7.45 rating, which is higher than Salah's. I know it doesn't mean everything, but
yeah.
He's also got 7 man of the matches, which is the most in the Liverpool squad. I think if you've got the most man of the matches in the best team of the year, I think you've got to be in there. 18 goals, 7 assists as well, which is fantastic stats.
I hate that Who Scored shite, I'm not going to lie. I think average ratings are all well and good, but if someone has an absolute clanger, then that can mean...
No, I agree you can't base everything on stats, but...
We did say, yeah.
Even from what I've seen, just from my research, it is harsh to not have Aubameyang in here, and I was going to have him in here, but I think if you're not putting him in as a striker, because I think he's very much a striker, based, 22 goals, 3 assists, I just don't think you could put him anywhere else. So if you're not, though, but I can accept you putting Aubameyang in left wing because I almost did the same myself. But I've edged Mane.
Yeah, I don't want to hear about Who Scored ever again.
Just because you haven't done your research.
No, it's like last season when they were saying Sol Bamba was a better defender than Virgil van Dijk because the stats were with him because he had more clearances and stuff.
No.
Well, no, but that's not.
You've got to look further. You've got to look further though. I haven't just gone. Oh, he's got the highest rating. He's in. I've looked further than that. To be fair.
So have I. I just thought that Aubameyang edged it for me.
That's fair. I can accept that.
So Bamba's rating wouldn't be good because it takes into account more than just the amount of tackles and stuff that they do. So, and then stats we're looking at isn't just number of stuff, like number of tackles, and for a forward anyway. I think Mane just overall as a player is better.
if there was a bench for this team, Aubameyang would be certified on there. 22 goals for a team that's struggled like Arsenal.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
it's incredible, to be fair. And he's very unfortunate not to make it.
And then I guess Sterling is someone maybe worth mentioning. 20 goals in this season, even though a lot of them were towards the end. He's still had an okay season for his standards. But I was never going to get in this team. I don't
not
think.
for me, to be honest with you.
Let's move on to young player of the season. The penultimate awards, one of the big ones.
Well, there's only 3 we need to talk about, isn't there? We've spoken about.
We'll brush over some of these because it's quite an obvious answer. You just want it.
Mm.
I'm just going to put Trent there now.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
But we will give the others the courtesy of talking about them a bit.
Yeah.
So who wants to go first?
I'll just start. I'm trying to think who do I want. Harvey Barnes or Dwight McNeil. I'll go with Dwight McNeil. 2 goals, 6 assists. It's not bad for a youngster, especially in a team like Burnley. They're not known much for their amazing wingers. He's done a job, and he's still a young lad. He'll probably leave soon. I could see him going to a big club, but he started Premier League life well.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would be thinking, why have we put him in here?
We didn't.
Because but I think it was important to us to include some people who maybe won't get the recognition from like some of the pundits. And when you look deeper into his stats, he's got the second highest average rating for Burnley, 7.06, and they've had a great season. He started all 38 games, 2 goals, 6 assists, not too bad. He just really puts in a shift on that left wing, and he's talented and technical and a great cross of the ball. And only 20. And I think it was right for us to give him a bit of praise when no one else would.
Yeah, fair enough. And as you're saying, the main reason he's actually here is because Collins nominated him.
But I like that.
Which is fair enough. Which is fair enough. But I don't really think I have anything to add on Dwight McNeil. I think you've said all there is to say on him. I'm going to move on to a more obvious choice to this. I'm going to talk about Marcus Rashford. I think he's had a great season for Man United. The fact is they've been in great form since January, February time. But Rashford was still scoring plenty of goals beforehand when United was struggling a bit more. I think he'd scored 14 in 22, 23, 24 matches, which is incredible considering his previous seasons, last couple seasons, people were very unsure about him. There was a lot of doubt surrounding him, what his role should be. Is he all that he was hyped up to be in the beginning? What's going to happen with him? But he's been fantastic. 17 goals, 7 assists. He's good dribbler. I think his playmaking is underrated. I've seen some of the passes he's made towards the likes of Martial, Bruno, Greenwood, etc. He sets up a lot more than people give him credit for. So he's really developed into a more complete forward this season, and I think he deserves props for
that. Yeah.
Most man of the matches at United by 3. Second highest average rating in the squad. Similar goal scoring stats to Martial, 17 goals, 7 assists in only 31 games as well. 31 appearances. So big up Rashford.
Yeah.
Speaking of sort of players that go on the wing, I'm going to talk about Harvey Barnes now. Maybe you wouldn't have said he's had that great a season, but if you look at his stats for a youngster, it's pretty good. 6 goals, 8 assists in the Premier League. In a very attacking Leicester side, so they did need him. He's kept people like Damari Gray on the bench, and Damari Gray is a very pacey winger, probably not as good as he used to be, but still to keep players like that on the bench is pretty good. I think he's been all right, and it says a lot about your game if you're getting linked with Liverpool. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I actually like that as a signing. I've rated him for a little bit now. I rate him. I think he's got good end product. 6 goals, 8 assists in 24 starts. He's got the most assists in the Leicester squad, and he's got 5 more assists than James Maddison in 5 less starts than him. And everyone's talking about James Maddison as the next big English number 10 or whatever. So You've got to put some respect on that at only 22.
Yeah, he's talented young winger for Leicester. He's done well with the amount he's been able to contribute, as you guys have said, and he could really turn out to be a high quality player in the Premier League, for the next decade.
You know where we've messed up here though? We've put Dean Henderson as our goalkeeper of the season and not put him in the young player of the season.
I did say, right, for the ladies and gentlemen who are listening to this, I said, I reckon Dean Henderson should be on young player of the season, and Collins had a go saying we should put Harvey Barnes in.
Yeah.
Right. Can we just
go on?
No, you go.
I'll go. Right. The problem with this, us not including Dean Henderson, is it was us having one nomination each and who we would like the most to be there. Now, while Dean Henderson definitely deserves to be in the conversation, just the way the nominations worked out meant that he wasn't included.
Luckily for us, he wouldn't have won it anyway because no one competes to Trent this season. But we should just imagine Dean Henderson is there in the top right-hand corner right there. Let's just imagine he's there, and we'll give a quick word to him. He's been great. All right.
Anyway.
Right, Trent's won.
Yeah. But Wilfred Ndidi, we've already covered him already as he's in team of the season. I don't know if we really need to say anything.
No, we don't need to say too much more. If he's in team of the season, he's obviously going to be there, and as should Dean Henderson. But it is what it is. Let's just imagine he's there.
Right, striker, the final pick.
Okay.
Who are you going for?
Final pick. I don't want to go first on this one.
I'm not going first.
All right, Vardy. Golden Boot winner at 33. He's still a horrible little striker to be going against, even at that old age. He is, in no uncertain terms, a shithouse striker. And he's still good. He's still got the shooting skill. He did have a bit of a struggle after lockdown, will be admitted, but then he recovered a bit and started to get a couple of goals again. But he really is a great striker.
Yeah, Body is fantastic. His journey to the top is, nothing short of miraculous and probably like film worthy, really, isn't it? I'm sure they're definitely going to make a film about it at some point or some documentary, because it is amazing. Unfortunately, though, I would disagree. Not because he doesn't deserve it. Not because he doesn't deserve it. Just because I think Danny Ings should go there instead. No, Vardy's done great, and he definitely deserves a shout here. But Danny Ings has played, 200 minutes less, which, okay, isn't much, but one goal less. If he played an extra 200 minutes, you'd probably think he would get that to at least tie Vardy. Also, he's playing for Southampton, and Leicester had been really great this season, especially in the first half of the season too. I think that does need to be taken into account. I think Danny Ings doing that for Southampton, who got trounced 9-0 and had a really poor start. He was still scoring in that period, by the way. And I think he's also a big reason why Southampton have been able to turn it around, because he's just kept scoring and he's ended up being, second top goal scorer. So I would personally pick Danny Ings.
All right, let's go on then, because we know Paddy's going to agree.
Is it like that? Is it, Mangan?
Am I wrong?
Yes, you are wrong.
Yep, told you.
What?
Wait.
I said you were wrong.
Yeah, no. I said you weren't going to agree with me.
No. No. I thought you meant I was going to agree with Written.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. So you're wrong. So you're wrong, Mangan. You got wrong. There's a conclusive winner, and for me, it's Jamie Vardy.
Oh my god! I was not expecting to actually get that.
No, for me, it's clear. If you're having the Premier League team of the season and you don't have the top goal scorer in, I don't understand how that's possible. That's not possible to me. How can you not have the top goal scorer in the Premier League in the team of the season? I actually had both of them in, to be fair. I had both of your suggestions in my initial one. I had Ings and Vardy up front in a 4-4-2. So I then had to pick between between the two of them, and I've gone with Vardy because you've got to have the top goal scorer there, in my opinion.
Well, colour me shocked.
I don't know. I don't think that's that shocking. But there it is. There's our official team of the season, and there's only one matter to solve left.
I'm devastated about that. Because also, Vardy scored 4 penalties and Ings has scored none, so he hasn't taken, but whatever, fine.
That's
fine.
irrelevant.
He won a silly little golden boot trophy, so whatever.
To me, that is everything.
Your
If you're the top goal scorer in the league, you're in the team of the season automatically. That's my logic.
Right, so the last one, player of the year. We have spoken plenty about all 5 of these people already.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Let's just go straight into the vote because we've talked about all these players enough. Let's go straight to the vote.
De Bruyne,
Paddy?
because he's the best midfielder in the world, probably quite comfortably. He's the best player in the league. He's outshone everyone. He's joint record assists, scored amazing goals, 13 goals as well. He's got 33 goal contributions in 32 starts as a midfielder. Unbelievable. He's the best player by far. So
Paddy?
I have to give it to him.
No, Mangan. Go be you.
No, Paddy, because I think I know who you're going with.
Bro. I've been back and forth.
I think we all know which way you're going on this.
I've been back and forth.
Because I've already decided, and I don't.
You already
want to say it
know.
yet.
I think Mangan's going to agree with Paddy as well. I
don't think he is.
I think he is.
Okay.
I think
you predicted correct. I have gone with Hendo. And can I just say Neil also voted for Henderson as well before anyone talks about bias here.
that's surprising.
Neil also gave me a vote for Hendo. Now, to me, the player of the year should be the most impactful player at the team that's been the standout team, and not necessarily whoever finishes top. That player, they should have a player in the team of the season, because Van Dijk won it last year and we came second, but that was only because it was like 1 point off. Because we've been so far ahead of City and so far ahead of everyone for the whole season, I think we've been the standout team by far. I think it's right to give the player of the year to the standout player in that team, and that is the captain, Jordan Henderson.
See, hang on. There's one flaw in that, should go to the standout. What about Salah winning PFA player in 17-18 and Suarez winning it in 2014?
I've just said that. No, I just said that.
I thought you said about Van Dijk winning it.
Yeah, because we were only 1 point off City last year. Like, City were the standout team, but Van Dijk won it.
But 2018 we weren't 1 point off winning it. We were miles off. And 2014, we were close to be fair. And Suarez did deserve it, but I think I don't think it should just go to.
How far were we off in 2018? Salah won it.
2018, we finished fourth.
Salah won it.
Yeah.
Did he get 31 goals in that season?
32 goals, yeah.
That's mad.
Yeah.
Right. Do you want my opinion on it?
That's why I've been back and forth, though, to be fair. I don't know.
Go on, outnumber me again.
I am going. It's taken me a lot of thinking to do this, but I'm going with De Bruyne.
Yes! Yes!
At the end of the day, Paddy, you are right. The award should go to the person who's made the most contribution. And whilst I love Hendo, his contribution off the ball and on it are great. The man's got 20 assists. City would have probably finished outside the top 2 if he wasn't there. Let's be dead honest.
To back up my point, what I was saying with the whole most impactful player at the most impactful team, what I mean is, like, De Bruyne's contribution this season has had zero impact. Like, they've not achieved anything because of that. When Salah won the Golden Boot or whatever, he got us back into the top 4. He got us into the top 4 when we'd had the Champions League run and everything. So
Did he?
That had an impact.
Hang on. I'm trying to think then.
2018.
I think we got top 4 the year before.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Okay.
we got into the top 4 whilst having a big Champions League run. We're not the biggest squad, so I just feel like I'm looking at the most impactful player. Like,
here's the thing. I wouldn't even say Henderson's been the most impactful player at Liverpool. I think it's Van Dijk. I think if you take Van Dijk out of the team, or you take Henderson out of the team, you do a lot worse by taking Van Dijk out of that team. And I think Van Dijk is, as you said before,
that's not quite what I mean, though.
Well,
That's
it's
not
what
quite
you said.
what I mean.
Well, Van Dijk has the biggest impact on our team easily. I mean, he is like he's the biggest reason why our defense.
No,
is now
but like
so
I
good.
just mean Henderson's been the standout player in our team this year.
Well, he's definitely got the biggest PR this season, that's for sure. And I think that does have a sway as why he's now like really being talked about a PFA player there. Now, it's not. I'm not going to have a problem if he ends up winning it. Not a problem. He's a Liverpool player, and he's had a great season, as I've said. He's proved a lot of people wrong, and he's been terrific since October, especially. But Van Dijk, you said before, hasn't really dropped off that much since last season, and he got second in the Ballon d'Or, only a few votes off beating Lionel Messi. Now, if he's only slightly went down, for me, he's still leaps and bounds.
Yeah,
ahead
I know,
of,
but Henderson's levels have like not just slightly up, they have rocketed.
But he's not near what Van Dijk is. I'm sorry.
No, I'm not saying he is, but I think this season he's been our standout player.
I think the only reason Van Dijk's not being talked about is because of what he did last season, and they're like, oh, we can't give it 2 times in a row, and he's not improved more, even though it was basically impossible to improve.
So I think he hasn't had as much to do this season, Van Dijk, because of Henderson's impact in midfield.
Victim of his own success, Van Dijk, as I said before, and
it's true he is a victim of his own success, but I think he's had less to do this season because of how solid our midfield's been in terms of defensively, and I think Henderson has played such a big role in that, and the way he's led the team, his passion, the work rate, that the style of play that fits Klopp's system so well has enabled us to win the league.
No, I get it, but
I get to the De Bruyne thing. I was flabbergasted by his stats.
It's PFA Player of the Year, and who's been the best player in the league? De Bruyne. But the thing is, you can't just say, well, Henderson won the league, because then we should say, well, Vincent Kompany
No.
Man City, you know.
I'm not just saying that.
Really
I'm saying he's had more of an impact on his team. Like, De Bruyne's goals and assists have led to nothing, but they are incredible stats, and I can't deny it. But you say who's had the best season? Well, just because he's got more goals and assists, not necessarily mean he's had the best season, because Henderson's never going to get those sorts of numbers because he's not the type of player, and he's not in there to do that, the job that De Bruyne does. So you can't compare him in that sense. But I can accept De Bruyne. It's between Henderson and De Bruyne for me.
Well, yeah, it's not like
I can accept either, to be honest.
It's not like we said Jamie Vardy was going to win or anything.
Yeah, like if either of them won it, I'm not going to go, oh, terrible decision.
The thing is, when you say it's had zero impact, I mean, if you took De Bruyne out the team this season, City might be in a bit of trouble. And also, there's not much he can exactly do about that. I mean, if he's putting in them numbers, then the rest of the team is letting down. Whereas Henderson has Van Dijk, then he has the best left back in the world, the best right back in the world, the best keeper in the world, then he has the 2 best wingers in the league ahead of him. You know, like De Bruyne's team has clearly let him down because he's been by far and away their best player. So you have to look at the rest of the team and why they dropped off it. Definitely, he's doing as much as he physically can.
No, I understand that.
So that's why I think it has to be De Bruyne.
I understand. I can accept either, but I would just edge Henderson, but I can accept either.
Right, and on that note, we're all done.
Yeah.
Bloody hell, this has been a long one.
Yeah.
Imagine if we had all 5.
I was literally going to say that. Yeah, this has been great. Remember, guys, actually, do you have anything else to say other than anything football related?
No, I think I think it's been a great podcast.
Great season.
A long one, and also a great season, especially for
And
us.
we'll see you back in 4 weeks when it comes back.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure we
And
can.
look forward to the Champions League.
Oh yeah,
I'm
definitely.
sure we'll do some sort of Champions League special.
Yeah,
Who knows?
definitely.
Off the cuff isn't just about football, but it just so happens there's been a lot of football things going on lately.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys, we have Twitter and Instagram at the Tier List Podcast. If you want to give us a check out, like give us a little follow. Listen to us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Anchor, our sponsors, and many more. But from me, Paddy, and Ritson, this being off the cuff, and this being the Tier List Podcast, and we'll see you later.